unite us. Today, our ferociously secular society, driven by the woke media, basically ignores the actual reason we celebrate Christmas. To refresh, it's to honor the man who brought Christianity to the world. That man was Jesus of Nazareth, an observant Jew who lived more than 2,000 years ago in Galilee. The Christian philosophy that Jesus articulated is simple. Love your Creator, God, and love your neighbor as yourself. That core tenet has made Christianity the most powerful movement in history, despite a myriad of distortions coming from dissenters, as well as corruption inside the Christian community itself. Man is imperfect, to say the least. In 1870, President U.S. Grant declared the calendar birth of Jesus, December 25th, a federal holiday, so everyone could get a day of rest and relaxation, even atheists. Jesus would have wanted it that way because he loved everyone equally. And one final thing, if every person on the planet had the strength and motivation of the Nazarene, this world would be a far more peaceful and prosperous place. Merry Christmas. Back after this. If you thought booking your timeshare was difficult before, you know it's almost impossible now. For more than a decade, Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of owners legally and permanently get out of their never-ending timeshare fees. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. For free, no obligation consultation, please call 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom lovers. Morning, Ken.
Good morning, Vic Porcelli.
I like your hat.
Thanks, man.
You know what I just reminded myself of?
What?
Do you remember the story by P.D. Eastman called Go Dogs Go? Do you remember that book, Go Dogs Go?
No.
It was, I don't know, but throughout the book, this girl comes up to this guy and says, "Hi, hello. Do you like my hat? I do not like your hat." Okay, goodbye.
Well, that sounds familiar, yeah.
And then at the very end, she says, "Do you like my hat? I do like that party hat." And then there's a big dog party going on in the tree. And go, dogs, go. The light is green now. Do you remember that? You don't remember this?
Vaguely, yeah.
I used to read to my kids all the time. And then I put it on Facebook one time. I said, "Am I the only person that when the light turns green, the person in front of me doesn't go?" I said, "Go, dogs, go. The light is green now." And everybody was like, "No, I curse at them. I beep at them. Blah, 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 blah." And then I put a picture from the book. I don't know, it's stupid. That was worthless. I'm sorry. All because you have a hat on.
That's right.
And I do like that party hat.
Well, thank you very much, Vic.
All right. It's a Friday. It's, can you put your hands over your ears and hum? This is my last day on the air before 10 days off. Okay, it's good. But Ken will be here for you. And actually hosting the show on Wednesday. I cannot wait to hear that show.
Thanks, Vic.
Yeah, man.
It'll be fun. It's just going to be, me.
No, it's not going to just be anything. It's going to be great.
Okay.
So shut up. All right, we start off with Patrick Ishmael, Director of Government Accountability. Every time we say, "Oh, Patrick Ishmael is going to be on the show," and he's the Director of Government Accountability at the Show Me Institute, I'm like, my God, government needs some accountability.
He's got quite a job.
He does. He's got his hands full. Mr. Connor's Neighborhood at 925, Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State. That's going to be like the big conversation of the day with everything, with the Colorado Supreme Court and everything else. It's going to be a big conversation with the Secretary of State. Susie Moore from Red State. She's the Deputy Managing Editor. 1025, I thought maybe we just do some Christmas song stuff. Just for fun.
Okay.
All right?
That'll be good.
Yeah, different Christmas song stuff. And the wheel of audio clips coming up at 1041. All right, let's do oh, no. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ken? Sorry, Old Glory's still in the box. Okay, Ken, who?
Now, did I not have the box available? At
You
least
did.
I had it available.
I had to go pee-pee, though, and it took my time. So who leads us today in the
Well,
Pledge of Allegiance?
unfortunately, you have to get that up there because I thought today, Vic, being the last day since you're going to be gone for 10 whole days, we should do you and I together.
Right now?
Right now.
Let's do it.
Live.
Let's do it.
All
You
right.
ready?
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maybe we'll practice that next time.
I screwed it up. I'm sorry. All right. Are we ready to go? All right. Patrick Ishmael, director of. But is this a different chair?
Could be.
This is. I don't know. There's all kind of never Trumper on this chair. I don't know if I want to sit on this chair. I think this is the chair I like over here. I'm gonna see if I can change it up. What are you doing now? For God's sakes, our MAGA license plate for an oversized car. Patrick Ishmael, director of government accountability at the Show Me Institute. Patrick, good morning. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Morning, Vic and Ken.
All right,
Patrick.
So you heard what I just said, right? Government accountability, my God, it must keep you busy 24/7 because so much government needs accountability, right?
Yeah, well, for sure. And it's not really a one-man job. At the end of the day, I enjoy the work that I do, but for government to really be accountable, you really have to have the public involved in it. And that means sending out sunshine law requests, going to meetings. So it's great to be the director here at the Institute, but at the same time, it's certainly not a one-man band here. It's a community effort.
Absolutely. And, you guys do a great job. I just wouldn't want your job. There's just, to me, it's this big pile of papers on the inbox. Hey, here's another thing, Patrick, we got to take care of. All right, so let's talk about St. Louis possibly have broke the law by hiding emails on short-term rentals, and the city attempted to charge thousands of dollars for a response to a sunshine law request. Now, this is the charging too much for the sunshine laws. This is nothing new, right? Rick Edlin, we hear his piece that you guys sponsor about the sunshine laws and how much the school systems want. When did that get out of hand, the sunshine law request money?
Well, that's a great question. And, we've been doing sunshine law projects for a long time, but really intensely over the last for like 5 or 6 years. And we've sent probably 10 or 11,000 requests to state and local government. So we've got a pretty good sense of, what the practices are for state government and for local government when it comes to trying to stop you from seeing what you want to see. And so, we've had school districts demand $200,000 to see what they're teaching kids. We've had cities demand over $30,000 to see what they're spending money on. And so, in this latest case out of St. Louis, there was a St. Louisan who wanted to see some email correspondence about an Airbnb law that was being contemplated. And the city got back and said, we'll give you these, but you have to pay us $4,500 to convert the files or something like that, some nonsense explanation. And they modified the request, said, well, just give me what you have. And they said, no, well, you still need to pay us for it. And I think that's unfortunately a pretty typical kind of interaction. It's not every interaction. I mean, we had a sunshine law request that we sent out last week to the State Board of Education for emails, a similar kind of request, and we got those emails free of charge. And so looking at the story, it's just fascinating to see that the city would, go this one route to prevent transparency, whereas, just in the last 10 days, we saw exactly in our own case a very different kind of reaction, at least from the state. But again, I mean, the Sunshine Law, unfortunately, it's not just in Missouri, but because you have that kind of law across the country. Mm-hmm. But the Sunshine Law in Missouri is pretty weak. The consequences for violating it are, kind of capped out at $5,000 as a penalty to a city or local government or to state government. And the sort of recourse that you have for violations of the law are pretty limited. You can either, maybe reform your request. You could pay them what they're demanding. You can file a complaint with the Attorney General's office, which we've done before. But even if you went with the Attorney General's office, we had a complaint about a city that was doing wrong. We were told that we were right. They were doing it incorrectly. They had to do some remediation, some retraining on the Sunshine Law. And we said, well, great. So when do we get those documents? And the answer was, well, you don't, which is kind of it was all kind of pointless. Or you can litigate it, and that's what's happening in St. Louis right now. But even when you litigate it, we David Rowland, who is an expert in this space, we've worked with him before. He was our lawyer for a separate Sunshine Law case. He's involved in the St. Louis case as well. But we took a case all the way to the Missouri Supreme Court and lost. And so, there are all these options. And unfortunately, if you're just a regular Missourian, it can be extremely costly to try to get at what your government is actually doing. And I think the Sunshine Law really needs to change it a little bit. You need to make sure you have more or less preemptive transparency for most documents. That includes spending documents. That includes curricular documents. Just require that these governments and local entities post them online. But if you're going to have the Sunshine Law, you need to have some teeth in it. And unfortunately, whether it's St. Louis or statewide, I think governments are trying to get around that transparency.
Yeah. I want to get into this specific thing a little bit more, but I have a question first. I guess it's a two-part question, Patrick. How long has the Sunshine Law been in effect? And when they did put it into effect, did they put fees that people can charge for the information, or did they not think of that? You know what I'm saying?
The Sunshine Law has been around for probably 40 years. They were all more or less enacted in the same 10 or 15 year period across the country. And in the law itself, it allows for local governments or state government to charge the cost of, for instance, copying. So, and usually that fee could be, 5 cents a page or 10 cents a page, and I think that if you're talking about Sunshine Law requests in maybe the 1980s or 1990s, that kind of makes sense, because you're not necessarily being able to receive documents through transmission, electronic transmission. How do you? I think that those costs should be a part of government anyway. But if you're going to charge for documents, something reasonable like the former charge for copying, it seems okay. But that's not really how it plays out in reality anymore. And $4,500 in the case of the St. Louis Sunshine Law issue to convert a document is nonsense. It's plainly nonsense. It does not require $4,500. And I think sometimes what will happen too is the cost of attorneys going through a document are kind of tossed into the mix. And so you may have a Sunshine Law request that has, maybe 100 documents in it, but then they're trying to charge you for the cost of having a lawyer look at the document as well, when that should not really be a part of the calculation. So yes, from the very beginning of the Sunshine Law, there has been this aspect where local governments, so that they're not bankrupted or whatever with photocopies, they can charge a reasonable fee for those sorts of things. But what is really evolved into is just kind of stacking on fees to make sure that Missourians don't have a good sense of what their government looks like because they can't really see it because they're being priced out. It's unfortunate. It's too bad. There need to be changes to that. But particularly when you're talking about document conversion formats, it's nonsense to charge for that, and certainly St. Louis should know better.
Right. And, now that you can transmit documents electronically, there should be zero fee because there's no stamps, there's no copy machines, there's no paper, there's no ink. It's just hit and enter, and a file gets sent to somebody. That costs nothing. I mean, really. When you say, I'm glad to hear that there could be changes in the Sunshine Law because there needs to be changes in the Sunshine Law. All right. So let's get a little bit more specific on this deal you were talking about with David Rowland and somebody named Pona. It doesn't have a first name here, but files that were exactly what we're talking about. What's the update on this story? And give us a little background on it, too, if you could.
Yeah. So the broad background is that St. Louisan has seen a few, let's say, crazy parties in her neighborhood at Airbnbs, and the St. Louis City has been debating about making changes to it, and she was not particularly pleased with the language as it had stood, and wanted probably improvements to it. And as part of this, she wanted to know, well, are Airbnb lobbyists, are they somehow part of this process? And so she wanted to see the emails that were being sent to or from the mayor of the city and one of, I think, the big supporters of the legislation that had been being debated. And that was the point at which she found out that the city wanted $4,500 to convert what were native email files, the kind of obscure email formats that you may not be able to read on your own computer, had to be converted to a PDF. And that $4,500 conversion was something that she did not want to pay, reasonably so. And she said, well, instead, I'd like to have it just in the format that you had. You have it on your own computers. Just send me exactly that, and waive the cost, because you're not doing any conversion anyway. Not that that's actually the cost of the conversion, and the city refused to do it. And so Dave Rowland and the plaintiff here are now suing the city for those documents, and it's appropriate for them to do it. I mean, like I said, there are only so many avenues to get satisfaction here. You can keep, working with or complaining to the city, or you can complain directly to the Attorney General's office, or you can litigate. I don't know if the Attorney General's office is able to engage issues like this or do it promptly. There seemed to be some suggestion in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch piece that the Attorney General's hands may be full, and so maybe litigating is the final and best option at this point. But it should never have to get to that point. Whether you are trying to find out what legislation for Airbnbs looks like in your city, or whether it's what your school district is teaching your kids, or how your city is spending money, you shouldn't have to litigate anything. You shouldn't have to make a complaint to the Attorney General's office. You shouldn't have to do any of that stuff. You should either be able to get those documents directly without any sort of encumbrance from the city or county or state, or that information should be made public immediately. It should be preemptive transparency. The state should require that a lot of these documents be made public, even without being asked for. But unfortunately, the city of St. Louis, is dragging its feet on this particular Sunshine Law request, and now they've got a nice lawsuit in their lap, and we'll see how it turns out.
Well, I mean, I think $4,500 to convert a file to PDF. I mean, somebody's got to change these laws. I mean, let's rewrite the Sunshine Laws, but that's over my head. Patrick,
and I would add too that I think a lot of people just don't know that is abnormal.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to this station, you got to know it. I refer back to Rick Edlin. Those spots we used to play 4 or 5 times a day that says this is a ridiculous amount of money to be charged to get some Sunshine Law documents. So. If people that listen to this station, they're very familiar with the exorbitant fees for a Sunshine Law request, and it's just not fair, and somebody needs to change it, and I demand it from you, Patrick Ishmael. I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, man, thanks so much for always being with us and sorting this stuff out for us, everybody at the Show Me Institute. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk next year.
All right, Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Patrick.
Are you kidding me? $4,500 to convert a file to PDF?
That's just a bunch of crap. That's all it is.
Did they not think of this when they made the Sunshine Laws?
Yeah, well...
You know what, Ken? They didn't add in the bad guy factor.
Democrats?
Yes. That would be adding in the Democrat factor, which is the bad guys. But anything that's invented, before you send it out there, add in the bad guy factor. Yeah. What are people going to do? Gift cards. Do you see what's going on with gift cards right now?
Oh.
People are draining the gift cards, using the money, putting it back on the shelf at your store, and you just bought a worthless gift card.
Right.
Add in the bad guy factor. Stay ahead of the criminals.
Don't get a gift card.
Don't get a gift card. What's wrong with cash? Cash works.
Yeah.
All right, Wheel of Audio Clips at 10:41 today. Our last one for me this year. 10:25, little Christmas fun. Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at redstate.com at 10:05. We should ask Jay Ashcroft about this Sunshine Law crap. He might have something to say about it.
Make a note.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. When Ken talks, I listen. Larry Connors and Larry Connors' Neighborhood. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Over $1.3 billion. Trump just talks the talk. We walk the walk.
The big lie is a lot of bullshit. That's what it is.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Dealing with storm damage? Don't panic. Eureka Contracting and Roofing is here to help. With the recent storms, they understand it can be overwhelming. Remember, you don't have to rush into signing with the first door-to-door salesman. Don't let pushy sales tactics force you into a contract you're not comfortable with. Before making decisions, take a moment. Give the folks at Eureka Contracting and Roofing a call like I did for a no-pressure inspection. They'll assess the damage, determine if it's insurable. If it is, they'll guide you through the insurance process, and your only out-of-pocket expense will be your deductible. Eureka Contracting and Roofing, 636-938-ROOF, eurekacontracting.com.
Francis Chick Powers. With an inside story behind a Christmas song.
Colored street lights watch the world at play. A Christmas serenade.
That's Mr. Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge and Christmas Serenade. The song was written by Ira and Mitch Uspay of M&I Recording Studios in Manhattan. Mr. Ira Uspay remembers.
It was Christmas time in 1980, and my brother Mitch and I were sitting in the office of our recording studio, M&I Recording, and we were listening to our friend Bob Shannon at WCBS-FM here in New York. And we were enjoying the classic Christmas songs, and I just couldn't help thinking, wouldn't it be great to have a Christmas hit that gets airplay year after year? I was walking to the studio, and I found myself in Herald Square right in front of Macy's, and that's when it really hit me. The subway rumbling, the Santas on the corner, bells, music, really a cacophony of sound. It's like a Christmas serenade. And the rest of the song actually came quite easily. So in January 1981, while it was still fresh, we went into the studio and we recorded the demo. Around 1988, a friend of ours booked in Johnny Maestro on the Brooklyn Bridge. Johnny told me that he loved the Christmas song and he wanted to do it. It wasn't until a number of years later, in '94, that we found out about a CD coming out on Collectible Records along with WCBS-FM, and they were considering Christmas Serenade for the CD. Along with 25 classics, we were so excited when we found out that the song made it onto the CD. And I'm so happy to have had the chance to work with the great Johnny Maestro to get it on the air.
From the Christmas files of the musicalsoundreview.com, I'm Francis Chick Powers.
A Christmas serenade.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Whoosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Hey, this is Larry Connors reminding you, don't forget the Rumble live stream at 2 o'clock. And, of course, live on News Talk STL at 6 p.m. But now, back to the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
You're still a show-off one way or the other. Brian Setzer Orchestra, by the way, doing Jingle Bells. Brian Setzer, Stray Cats, of course, they were great. But when he did the Brian Setzer Orchestra, man, I tell you what, I was so addicted to that. And I put Brian Setzer Orchestra at Mississippi Nights on my top 10 concerts of all time.
Yes.
Of all time. All right, I think we're ready to... this old guy walked into the room. Oh, that's must be... I'm just saying. Oh, look, it's our buddy Larry. Trunk.
St. Louis, it's Mr. Connors' neighborhood.
Good morning, Mr. Connors.
But you never got an intro like that on Channel 4, huh?
No, I never got an intro like that. And if I had, I would have left a lot earlier. But how dare you call me an old man when you're 18 years older than me, I believe.
Let me see, that would make
13
me
years
85.
older.
Yes, that's right. I'm 85.
Okay, that'd be about right, yeah.
Okay.
Merry Christmas to both of you.
You too, baby.
And to your great audience.
Thank you. And they say it right back to you. Ken. First of all, Ken, this is not an official chat box check, but Kim, our friend Kim, hate to correct you because you're pretty smart. You know what you're doing, but what's everybody laughing at? I don't know what everybody's laughing at. But Kim said, Ken, you mispronounced Democrats.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim. I'm going to work on that.
We do have a great audience.
Yeah, you
this
do.
show. I mean,
you do.
they're
You do. And I pump you guys everywhere I go. I said, you got to
We
hear the morning show.
appreciate that,
I'm serious.
We do, Larry.
Because you have a very engaging, informative program. Then occasionally you have an old man walk in the studio and they let him have a microphone.
Well, I come in every day. The old
Oh,
man.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Hey, now, and you wanted to correct me because I have an old stinger, what we call a stinger.
Right. I was going to tell
when
you, yeah.
introduced, well, tell us. What did I do wrong here?
Well, we don't do the live Rumble at 2 anymore.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
now,
I gotta change that then.
yeah. So you just need to take that one out.
So we need to take some time with you.
Well, I can do that, but I think
Okay.
you've got others in there for me, I thought, but if not, I'll redo it. So, yeah. But will you do the 7:30, 12:03, and 3:30 commentaries, and then from 6 to 8, live on the station, and we're live streaming during that time. And it's on Rumble as well, as Newstalk STL, Facebook and Twitter, Larry Connors USA, Facebook and Twitter. It's all over the world.
And what's that website?
LarryConnorsUSA.com to get anything if you miss it.
Lock and load.
Boy, do you know how to set me up.
Yeah.
There'll be a little something extra in your stocking.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want that. A little something extra in my stocking.
Well, now look at it this way. So you get a lump of coal versus 364 bad days. That's okay.
That's not bad. No, right.
We're good once in a while.
Yeah.
All right. So, Larry, when you anchored for so many years on television, did you have to ever work on Christmas?
Oh, often. Yeah.
Okay. So, anything that comes to mind of a big, super breaking story that actually happened on Christmas Day, or was it pretty much soft?
No, actually, I don't recall anything like that. And we would swap off. But when Julius and I were together, because I had young kids, family, he would always cover Christmas, so that gave me my time with my kids. So then when I was in position where other anchors were there with me, then I would cover Christmas so they could spend time with their family. And no, never really missed a big story during that time, which is always a concern for me.
Right.
Because if you're on vacation and something big breaks, you want to be there.
Well, then that reminds me now. Was there ever a breaking news story when you were not at the station? Let's say you were home and you had to say, oh, my God, I got to get to the station and help cover this. Has that happened?
Yeah. You remember some of the mafia bombings that were taking place for a period of time?
I don't remember them personally, but I've read about them.
Huh?
The Leisures and Michael?
Yeah. I'm way, way out west, and my wife and I are looking at buying a home, and I hear, I don't know, we didn't have cell phones, I don't think. I can't recall exactly how I learned about it, but the car blew up in the Mansion House garage where we were living at the time.
Wow.
And that was one of them, of course.
Wow.
And I'm trying to rush and get in, so we just abandon all this right now. I need to get the station work on it. And other things like that, too.
There was a car bomb near Revis Barracks, I think, which was part of that whole mafia thing.
I think that's true. And then there's one going down 55 near
Revis Barracks.
yeah, Leisure, when the Lincoln just blew up on the highway. And that does not happen just routinely.
Right.
I mean, normally Lincolns won't blow up.
Right. And, obviously coming from the part of the world that I come from.
Yeah.
That was every day.
Every day you were a suspect?
No, I didn't say that. Nor a victim, thank God. But the big one, of course, was Paul Castellano. Paul Castellano hit in front of Sparks Steakhouse.
Yep.
I mean, right in front of the steakhouse. Hugely popular steakhouse. And there's, Paul Castellano's dead body. Paul Bellatti's dead body, his underboss, and I don't know how we got off on that. But
Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
But breaking news is something that happens no matter what.
Yeah. And and you have to keep in mind our men and women in blue and our fire departments and our first responders of all types. They don't really get a Christmas break either because they've got to be there and be available. And they try to work their shifts around, obviously, so they get some time with the family. But you got to thank them every time for that as well. I hit the microphone. I'm not used to working with the microphone. So, kid is so funny. But, keep them in mind and in your prayers because they're out there on the streets for whatever happens.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there have been some tragedies like that happen through Christmas. Often, as you well know, you get really cold weather and space heater is not properly placed and
fires,
yeah.
A lot of water main breaks when
all kinds of things like that.
So a couple of things.
Yes, sir.
First of all, talking about holidays, when you break into this business, Jerome's going to feel some of this, I'm sure, soon. You have to work all the holidays. You know,
Generally, yeah.
I remember,
unless you make plans otherwise, yeah.
I worked at WMMR in Philadelphia, and I was there on New Year's Eve, and the next train out wasn't until 12:30 in the morning because I got off the air at 10 p.m. So I had to wait an hour and a half, spend New Year's Eve in a production room with my wife on the phone saying Happy New Year. But you got to do that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but you brought up something, Men in Blue, right? And how the Men in Blue police officers, I'm sorry, people in blue, don't get enough respect, right? So my wife, I love her. She makes me crazy. She starts getting on these little trends of hers, like the Darrell Brooks case, the guy who drove the SUV through the Waukesha parade.
Right.
She knows every single word that was spoken during that trial. I swear to God, she's watched it over and over again. It just fascinates her. So the new thing that fascinates her is cops pulling over drunk people. And, you know, these people are, I ain't doing anything wrong. I'm not drunk. And these cops are so patient.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's where they really have to get the credit because they do this stuff every day.
That's the thing that has to be kept in mind. And there is no such thing as a routine traffic stop.
Right. Well,
I mean,
great.
you pull somebody over because they didn't signal and you thought, you know, or maybe they got a tail light out. It's not routine. If they're over the speed limit, it's not routine. Every time they've got to be on alert nowadays.
And some of the, I mean, and I hate to say this, but the most entertaining ones are the one where they pull over women, you know, and the women start, they go from angry to crying, you know. And, I love when they say, please don't do this to me. And the cop says, you did this to you. I didn't go to the bar, put the alcohol down your throat and put you behind the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, and now that we have Uber and in addition to cabs, I mean, why rush and risk it?
Open containers in the car. Yeah, yeah. I'm not drunk with the cup in his hand.
You know, my biggest fear that whole time, ever being of the age to drink and drive, I never did because I was afraid I'd kill somebody. I was afraid I'd take a kid out. And if I did that, my life's over. I'm done.
That's a big point. I was talking to a guy the other day. He told me that he had always went down this route, and when he came to this particular intersection, he always would go straight. He could get to the same place either by going straight or taking a turn right. For some reason that day, he decided to make a turn and go right. And just as he's making the turn, a kid comes speeding through, busting the light, and it would have T-boned him right there in that intersection if he'd been going forward.
God.
May have killed him, hitting from the passenger side, maybe not. And if it had, either way, the kid's life is ruined.
Right.
If he had killed him. I mean, you know, they just that kind of mindset got to be pushed into these kids. And some of them that have parents that are going to let them sit around at one house, they're going to stay there that night. They're going to let them, even though they're underage, 17, 18, they're going to let them have some alcohol or beer and they sit there, but they're not going anywhere. I have mixed feelings about that. I always have. But as long as they're not going anywhere, then I have to almost, all right, it's a controlled environment. But at the same time, you're kind of teaching them to flaunt the law at that point. Although I did it in the past, I'm not going to say I didn't.
I just asked my daughters, they're both 20 and 23 now, but I asked them, I said, just do me a favor. I said, I waited till I was 21 to drink.
Right.
In college. I did a lot of reasons because I couldn't find it anywhere. Mizzou, guys were not treated like girls were back then.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Well,
the girls could get into bars when they were 15.
Oh,
guys had to be 21 with 4.
That's where the phrase "she didn't look 15"
that's
came.
right.
Exactly. So what I said, look, I said, just be reasonable. Wait till you're 21. It'll pay off. And I hope they did. I don't think they did, but I just asked them. Till you're 21.
I think one of my daughters did, one didn't. But I know I was working in radio already, and I was buying liquor at 19 and 20. And of course, I had gone away from the Marines for a while, and then back, and then out again. But I'm in radio. They figured you must be 21 to be in radio. Is there a rule to that? I didn't know that.
I don't think so.
Is there a limit on how long you can be in the
Mark
business?
Close was 12 when he was on
Yeah,
station,
he was
wasn't
12. Yeah, he had a mustache and everything.
So 2 quick things.
Yeah.
When I was young, 18 was the drinking age.
Yeah,
in New Jersey.
Depending on the state.
18.
Louisiana was, at one point.
Now, the other thing is...
Now, wait a minute. Before we go forward, how about you want to give 16-year-olds a right to vote?
No.
Okay, I just want to how far you want to go.
But I do want to say, and I say this all the time, if you're 18, because it used to be 18 to buy cigarettes, like at Walgreens.
Right.
And if you're 18, you can go and fight and die for your country, but you can't buy cigarettes because, smoking will kill you.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
And that is an excellent point. And certainly during after World War, during Pearl Harbor and following it, we had a lot of 17, 18-year-olds
My dad
lie to get in.
My dad
Did he?
lied.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
All right, we're running out of time here.
Sure.
But when my house, when my kids were going, especially my son, was the place all the kids came for some reason. You know, they used to play Monopoly at the kitchen
Sure.
table and stuff. And whenever there was like a party where they knew they were going to drink, my wife had a basket, and she said, "Put the keys in the
Good,
basket."
good.
All the keys went in the basket.
Good.
She kept the keys with her.
Good for her.
And they couldn't get the keys back until she knew they were sober.
Good. I like that.
That's good.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Wish you guys a Merry Christmas.
You too, man.
And let me put it this way, a blessed Christmas. And we'll
Yeah.
talk before I won't get a chance to talk to you before New Year, but we'll get back. And
You guys
in fact,
can have a
I've got
crazy New
a
Year's
special piece on tonight's program, and I'm going to feature a song that is true to my heart, and really is one I want played at my funeral, but
Wow.
it fits with the Christmas season, and it's by Elvis. I decided to select Elvis to do it.
I love it.
That'll be coming up.
All right, that's tonight, 6 to 8. Larry Connors, USA.
Merry Christmas.
Hear
Larry.
his commentary at 12:03.
Mr.
3:30.
Connor's Neighborhood
Sorry, Vic.
on the Vic Porcelli
He
Show.
hates me. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Larry
Larry.
Connors. You hate me.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Love you, man.
Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State. Coming up next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home!
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a 50-cent Chevrolet.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Get that album. Not this album, but this album too. But Brian Setzer Orchestra, the full album. Oh, God, I love it. They do Louis Prima's Jump Driving Whale. Good stuff. Huh?
Love that song.
Yeah. All right. So listen, you. Sorry, did I do that?
No, you're right.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
You can be replaced, you know. No, you can't. Caring for a loved one, that's what I'm talk about, because long-term care, of course, it's incredibly emotionally stressful. And, you know, to see somebody that you love that needs care, you don't stop to think about, oh, my God, this is going to really be expensive, right? Because the most important thing is taking care of that person you love. Well, guess what? It is expensive, and it doesn't have to be anything that breaks the bank. And that's where our friend Chris Cooper with Serenity Wealth Management fits in, because he will show you some tax-efficient solutions for asset protection, even in the midst of long-term care. He's a CPA, financial strategist, and long-term care planning specialist, and he can help you show those ways to keep those earned assets and fund the quality of care you deserve and the quality of life that you want for yourself. He's got a book. It's free. It's called Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care. Visit SerenityLTC.com to get that book for free. SerenityLTC.com. Serenity now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advisory services offered through OWLLFI LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. This is a paid endorsement. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Serenity now! Columbo and Katie.
Friday, Ken Williams will join us in studio and we'll talk about the names released on Jeffrey Epstein's list. Are they shaking in their boots? I hope so. Plus, we'll get the weekend weather forecast with KMOV.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue, and after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions, and they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
This is Christina Strait with Strait Realty reminding you, why pay more than 4? In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Strait, owner of Strait Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 4?
Strait Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hey guys, Columbo here, reminding you that if you belong to an organization like a school or a church, or your kids are part of a group or a sports team that needs to raise money, there's no better way to do so than with a TJ's Pizza fundraiser. TJ's Pizza has been helping local organizations raise money for over 30 years to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. A local company helping local people, and there's lots of different ways TJ's can help you raise big money fast. Get started now at tjspizza.com.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
You're funny. Well, I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh? What do you mean funny?
On Newstalk STL.
Even songs with no lyrics, somehow you make it sound great.
Oh, thanks.
Whoosh. Paying attention here? That's how you do it. This guy you're watching, Jerome's in watching Shadowing Ken today.
Thanks, Jerome.
Learning his craft there. All right, so welcome home to 1019 94.1 Newstalk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That's the King, Ken Williams over there. And coming up the rest of the way today, the Wheel of Audio Clips at 10:41. 10:25, maybe some Christmas stuff, because actually one that we already used this morning I want to play again later. It's the Leroy Anderson sleigh ride.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do the Let's Go Blues thing. Remember the Let's Go
Oh,
Blues
yeah,
thing in there?
yeah.
Because that's fun. Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at redstate.com. And right now, as he does every Friday, Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State. Good morning. Happy birthday!
Good morning. Happy birthday. Merry Christmas when we celebrate the one birthday that matters more than any.
I wonder if Nick Schroer calls and says happy birthday to Jesus. He probably should.
Yeah.
He's probably got a direct line right through.
Right.
Should, and Merry Christmas to Nick.
Absolutely right. All right, before we get on to some of the stuff that I had planned to talk to you about, we talked to Patrick Ishmael today from the Show Me Institute, and we had a
good guy.
Yeah, and we talked about sunshine laws. When they made the sunshine laws 30, 40 years ago, was there a provision in there that allowed people to charge exorbitant amounts of money for information from a sunshine law? I mean, it's getting out of control, out of hand.
It is getting out of hand. When the sunshine laws were written, it was in what actually cost you to provide the information to the people that requested it. Unfortunately, we're seeing municipalities and government agencies and government departments raising that price on what's happening, keeping people in the darkness about how the government operates. I think that's a terrible thing. I remember when I came in as Secretary of State, it cost $100 to get our voter roll. And I looked, how does it cost us that much to do that? And it's now a third of that.
Yeah. And, school systems I'd like to throw into the list that charge exorbitant fees for the sunshine laws. And, I guess back when they did it, okay, copiers, right? You got to pay for copying, sheets of paper, ink, and all that stuff. Now with it being electronic, there literally is no cost.
It depends on how it's. Most of these things, it's like we're talking about budgets for public institutions, political subdivisions like schools. We ought to just go ahead and put that online anyway, so no one has to request it. It's the people's money. The people should control it, and the people should be able to look through it all they want.
All right. Let's talk about the big story of the week, which to me is still a nothing burger because, the Supreme Court of the United States will overturn it, but the Colorado Supreme Court, reckless decision to keep Trump off the ballot. I mean, it's not going to stick, right? Tell me it's not going to stick.
No, it won't stick. The United States Supreme Court has no choice but to overrule it because the plain language. Anyone that learned to read, maybe went to private school, can read the language of the Constitution, and it clearly does not apply to the President of the United States. The 14th Amendment isn't the way to do that. It would be through an impeachment if that was what was desired. The former president will appear on the ballot in Missouri if he's selected by Republicans to be their nominee at their caucus. We will not allow some, really black robe dictators in Colorado to mess up Missouri's elections.
So, speaking of Missouri elections, there are some claims of foreign election interference. I don't think that my friend Jay Ashcroft would stand for that.
I know, and the claims themselves are election interference.
Yeah.
What we had was one individual, and I'm not even going to name names because this is just an atrocious thing that I don't want to give it more air than it has.
Fair
it
enough.
Never should happen. But we had one individual that was running for attorney general, and she accused her opponent that was running for attorney general of being a porn agent simply because he was Jewish. It is anti-Semitic.
Wow.
It is wrong. It is disinformation and misinformation. And I can't. That should never happen in Missouri. Maybe California or New York, but not Missouri.
Yeah. So you made me think of something when you said, that the person was Jewish. And it often comes into my head since October 7th. These people that are now speaking out against Israel, right? This can't be a new thought in their head. So they have always been anti-Semitic, but now's their chance to get it out. Am I right there?
Yeah.
Yes, this is out of the mouth proceeds the abundance of the heart. We are seeing that people are revealing who they are, and I hope the people of Missouri take notice because we should shame them, should never allow them, should point them out to our children as people we never want our children to be.
Yeah. All right. So there was another thing. The lawsuit against Missouri's investing rule. I'm not. Tell me about that.
Well, in Missouri, we passed a rule. It's a rule that no other state had done, although other states are watching the lawsuit to follow us when we're successful. But we just simply said, when it comes to investing, if you're suggesting an investment to your client for some reason other than trying to get them the best return on their investment, maybe it's some woke social agenda you have, you are required to disclose that and get their permission or it's fraud. We're not telling people how they have to invest, but in Missouri, we're going to protect investors' rights to know and control what's done with their money, and it's fun to fight the forces of evil.
Yep. All right, last thing, and then we'll get into some Christmas talk. What the heck with things that are going on in Washington, D.C. Senate hearing rooms? I mean, have people absolutely lost their minds?
Do you really have to make me think about this?
I'm sorry.
It's Christmas, I guess the amazing thing is here, they've found something worse that we can talk about that's happening in Washington, D.C., that space that, Senator Cardin said was a sacred space.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I have a better understanding of what he considers sacred now.
Boy, no kidding. We should use those words right back at him. All right, let's talk about Christmas, Mr. Secretary. Tell me something from when Jay Ashcroft was just a little guy and Christmas and a certain memory. You got any of those?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I was a little guy, but Christmas was a great time for family. We'd open our presents on Christmas Eve, and Christmas morning, Mom would work for hours and hours creating just an amazing buffet of breakfast with coffee cake and cinnamon rolls. And probably my neatest thing was back then, the only orange juice you got was out of the can with water added to it. But on Christmas, my mom would buy the juice oranges. We'd splurge, and then we would squeeze those and have home fresh squeezed orange juice with the family.
Nice.
Love that. Absolutely love that. So, when we're parents and our kids are little, we want to make sure we can get them some presents and stuff. And this has become the most expensive Christmas for people on record, really.
It has been terrible for people, although I think the Biden administration would say that if you exclude food and energy, and I mean, who needs food and energy, then inflation is fine. So hopefully the bright side or the silver lining in the inflation and the cost of stuff is it will help to remind people that stuff doesn't actually bring happiness and that they can concentrate on relationships and family and not be so materialistic.
Amen.
And the true meaning of Christmas, give it to us, Mr. Secretary.
The true meaning of Christmas is that God sent his son that we might have life and that we might have it more abundantly.
Fantastic. How's the campaign going?
It's going great. I love meeting with the people of the state. I'm a little tired these days, lack of sleep, but it's a wonderful thing. Love how we're doing. We're going to transform Missouri and be a leader in our nation like we should be.
Fantastic. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you, and thank you so much for your time that you give us every Friday, okay?
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas to you.
Happy birthday. All right, Jay Ashcroft.
I love his energy. I'm sorry, man.
I love his energy. I love that one of the commitments that he has made to get out to every single county in the state and meet people, that's what you got to do.
And what he just said, he's going to make Missouri be influential in the country. Right now, it's not, Vic. Right now, it's just coasting along, and we need people in our neck of the woods that need to go up and fight for things that we need to have fight for us.
Like free and fair elections, something
Yes,
like that.
yes.
I still think he should run a seminar. Rent out a ballroom in the Marriott, and have other secretaries of state come there and
Come on in here. Here's
watch
how we
him.
do it.
Here's how we run elections in this state.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have time to do the chat box here for a little bit?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, our buddy Ed Stoit always says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And he says, no fair elections, no peace.
No fair elections, no peace.
I love that so much.
I know.
Let's just take things like that and throw it right back in
Right,
their face.
in their
right
face,
back
yeah.
in their face. Ray says, Merry Christmas, guys. Hope you have a safe and happy one. Thank you so much. Lunch Lady says, holy crap, anti-Semitism right in your face.
Yeah.
And it's true. And I stand by what I said, and the Secretary agreed with me, that these people now that you're hearing that are talking against Israel, these aren't new thoughts that popped in their head. This is just an opportunity and a vehicle for them to get it out.
And like you always bring up is we didn't do anything about it last time. It wasn't a thing to do something about. But this time, I think we're actually getting ahead of it a little bit.
Let's get ahead of it before it's 6 million more people.
Exactly.
Right. All right, Facebook. David in first. Good morning, David. Love him. Gutter Pro, David. Merry Christmas, Vic and Ken. Best morning team in radio, bar none. Thank you, David. Merry Christmas to all the listeners. We make an amazing conservative force for good and family. And then he says, let's roll.
The Vic Heads do too.
Yeah, and that phrase, let's roll. I mean...
Oh, Flight 93?
Yes, ever since then, it just means... How can you see those two words together and not think of that kid who was very brave on Flight 93? Grant says, good morning, you bunch of freedom-loving Vic Heads. And then you know what he says?
What?
Go, dogs, go!
Yeah. I guess he's in Alabama. It was a Georgia?
No, he's home now.
Oh.
Yeah, he was at Sanibel Island is his place to escape.
Oh, okay.
But he's here now. Good morning, gents and fellow Vic Heads. Have a blessed Merry Christmas. News Talk STL family and friends. Robert Feeney says, wishing you, Vic and Ken, a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Amy says, good morning, Vic Heads. Merry Christmas. Joy Nix, Happy Friday, ladies, gents, and gentle cats. Hoping you all have a great Christmas and wonderful Christmas. Morning and Happy Friday from Alexander. Merry Christmas, too. Kim says, good morning. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through St. Louis County. Oh, here we go. Here's
Kim
Landgraf poetry. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through St. Louis County on this day and age, every resident's property tax was increasing except for the one at the home of Sam Page.
Yep. Good call, Kim.
Tom says, oh no, good Friday morning. Good morning, Merry Christmas, Charles, Kim, everybody. I think we got everybody. If I didn't, maybe we'll do it again at the end of the show if we have time. But Merry Christmas, and thanks so much, guys, for being there with us and being part of the show. And
so important.
Yeah, all our Cat in the Hat stuff I love on our stream. Our stream looks different than every other stream on this show. Everybody's like normal.
They're normal, and we're not.
We're not. Back after the news.
You've heard the buzz about IT jobs in cybersecurity and AI, right? Why not prepare for a career in these fields and take advantage of the high demand? You could enjoy a more rewarding and recession-resistant lifestyle. Train in just a few short months at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Already in IT? Skill up for positions employers need to fill. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Hey, Columbo here with a great holiday offer from the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Just mention the Columbo special when you book a cleaning in the month of December, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $50 off your air duct cleaning. We trust Zero Res because they are simply the best when it comes to cleaning any surface in your home. And just remember to mention the Columbo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter from The Right Mind Show, where we put the fun in our dysfunctional world. And there's nothing more dysfunctional than the holidays. Crowded malls, drunk relatives, and of course, the holiday fruitcake, who I refer to as my Uncle Bob. So join me and my buddy Joey B this Saturday, won't you? Hey, it's better than kissing Grandma under the mistletoe.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Saturday evenings at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you this holiday by LiberalJoke.com.
When you help create a Make-A-Wish experience for children like me, you create a turning point in our treatment and recovery. And suddenly, the joy of childhood that we've lost within reach. Right now, there are over 600 kids in our region, just like me, who are waiting for their wish. Help us receive a wish by texting the word WISH to 243725. Thank you for transforming lives one wish at a time.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Facing legal challenges on multiple fronts while running for president and running a business empire at the same time, former President Trump isn't giving up. Far from it. He tells the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt that absolutely he's challenging the Colorado Supreme Court ruling, kicking him off the state's Republican primary ballot.
We're in the process of doing it. Everybody thinks exactly what you're saying. They're trying to take the election away from the voters. And this is the same group. I guess it's Crew. I've beaten them about 20 times. I beat them on emoluments. They sue me on anything. It's a group of radical left lunatics.
Even the Washington Post, in an opinion piece, is trashing the Colorado ruling. House Republicans releasing records showing that then Vice President Biden was much more involved in Hunter Biden's overseas business affairs, specifically his business dealings in Ukraine, than he has admitted.
According to the records, Joe exchanged emails with his son Hunter's business associate, Eric Schwerin, 54 times while he was serving as vice president. All told, then Vice President Biden emailed Schwerin 35 times before and after his 2014 trips to Ukraine. Most of the communication took place in the lead-up to and following an agreement for Hunter to serve on the board of Burisma. Edwin Mora, Washington.
What to do about the record-shattering flood of illegal immigrants across the southern border? President Biden is sending a high-level delegation to Mexico to talk about it. But Republicans insist that real border security involves enforcing U.S. immigration law, bringing back the Remain in Mexico policy, and building the border wall. Watching Wall Street, stocks are higher this morning. The Dow is up 26 points. The Nasdaq ahead 34, and the S&P is trading 12 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Keep your umbrellas handy today. On and off rain through much of your Friday, but this storm system has no access to cold air, so this is just all plain rain. 57 for the high today. Rain chances wither into the evening. Should be dry overnight. Will dip to a mild 49. That sets the stage for an unusually warm day Saturday. Great travel day, a high of 64, but still mostly cloudy. Then be ready for a round of soaking rain from Christmas Eve evening into Christmas Day. Looks pretty soggy. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, welcome back. Welcome home to 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. You know what, Ken?
What, Vic?
There's been something glaringly missing from today's show.
What?
About what today is.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't played
Friday!
Wow. First time, all show.
I know.
I blame you.
It's my fault.
You can be replaced.
I know.
No, you can't. Wheel of audio clips at 10:41. 10:25. I mean, it's a couple of days before Christmas. I thought we might have a little Christmas music fun. Is that okay?
Who are you?
It's Friday!
Oh, yeah. Now let's make up for it. Yeah. Now let's play it every 2 minutes. And right now, of course, we know Friday.
Q, baby, I love you. Susie Q.
I'm the boss. How about that?
And I should have listened to Susie more from the beginning. I am so sorry I said that.
Said what?
I should have listened to Susie more from the beginning.
Why? I got it.
That's fine. Shut up. It's fine.
You don't have to say it anymore.
Smoothie Q, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Vic. How are you?
I'm good. Susie Moore is the deputy managing editor of RedState.com. And I want to say it again. I've said this before, but, I think Fox News Digital, their site is one of the worst news sites ever. They're written poorly. They don't have a great editor like you. And they stopped doing stories at like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we don't do that.
I know. So anyway.
We do our best to cover 24/7. It's not always easy to do, but we do what we can.
Yeah.
Hey, Susie, I just want to warn you, first of all, that Vic's going to be off for 10 days. So he's flying pretty high right now. And you said that you wanted to sing to him, didn't you?
I said when you answered the phone, I was going to start by greeting you as Happy Holidays.
All right.
Little
and a doopity-doo, right? Isn't that the song with the...
That is.
Yeah.
I take that song to such extremes, I swear to God.
That's the actual lyric. Doopity-doo.
And a doopity-doo and a doopity-dee. All right. Let's talk about, you know what? This administration, Susie, they hire people, they put people in positions not for their resume or their credentials, just what they look like or what they sound like. And Karine Jean-Pierre, I mean, what a terrible year she has had being the press secretary. Don't you agree?
I do, although I'm going to say something controversial here.
Oh boy.
I think she's actually gotten a little bit better. I mean, when she first started out, she was really rough. Now she excels at avoiding the question.
She's gotten good at it.
She excels at avoiding the questions. Ah, God. So she took Kirby off the stage there as soon as she got asked about court dates for illegal immigrants. Susie, let everybody know when some of the court dates are for some of these illegal immigrants. You ready for this, guys?
That would be 2031.
2031. Half of them will be dead by 2031.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's insanity.
Yeah, I mean, it is insanity. It's like, why are you even bothering? Like, why even give them an appointment date at this point. Why don't you just say, just come on in.
Come on, don't worry about it. You're good. Call me at 2031. We'll say hi. We'll be done. All right.
Exactly.
Chris Christie says he's not going to bow out of the race just so he can bash Trump. That's the only reason he's going to stay in the race, right?
Yeah, but the ironic thing is his remaining in somewhat helps Trump.
Oh, absolutely.
Not a ton, but it does.
Yeah.
So
I saw.
Take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. I saw a cartoon, political cartoon I want to talk about here for a quick second. I just have to find it so I get it all right. Yeah. So in the foreground, and this is Goodwin, who's a great editorial cartoonist.
Mm-hmm.
In the foreground is a Colorado Supreme Court justice. And then real big is remember the Energizer bunny that keeps going and going and going?
Sure.
And the battery says ballot ban. And the bunny is actually Donald Trump because he's got the hairdo. And he goes, hey, thanks. Because this is helping him too.
It is. It is. He is that weird, the unique individual that absorbs blows and gains more power from them. Just like, kind of like in video games, some of the bosses are like that. The more you go after them, the stronger they become.
You know, Susie and Vic, what I've noticed, though, is the media is taking this and they're turning it on, trying to turn it on Trump by saying that it's the negativity that makes him thrive. Okay, that's a lot different than what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're saying that he's taking all that negativity and he's making it into energy. No.
Right.
That's not what's happening, right, Susie?
Well, if they think that's the case, then maybe they should quit being so negative towards it.
Right.
And I mean,
so let's talk about this Colorado Supreme Court thing for a second. Mm-hmm. How you know that it's not going to stick? The Today Show this morning, no mention of it, not one mention. Yeah. After every single legal scholar, constitutional expert has said that the Supreme Court of the United States will maybe 9-0 overturn this. So all of a sudden now the mainstream media is completely quiet about it because they know they screwed up.
Yeah, you would think that they would be touting it a bit more if they thought it was going to withstand the Supreme Court scrutiny. I really do wonder I understand partisan motivation, and I understand that, results defining how a court approaches the system. They're not a decision. They're not supposed to be results oriented. They're supposed to just do the process. But a lot of times I feel like courts do arrive at a conclusion and then they make the opinion fit that. What I don't get is how the four justices that were in the majority on the court thought that this was really going to fly. Like, they have to be reasonably intelligent people. And I mean, I guess their credibility wasn't as important as striking a blow for, the anti-Trump faction, because no one will be more surprised than me if the Supreme Court doesn't reverse this ruling.
And California now, their Secretary of State or their Attorney General is going to do everything they can to keep him off the ballot. Mm-hmm. They're so desperate because they know they've got a worthless president to just do anything to get people to not vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah. If they were really smart about it, what they would do is go ahead and send Joe off into the sunset and swap in Gavin Newsom. Now, I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm not saying I want Gavin Newsom to be the nominee, not much less the president, because I think he'd be horrible. But, somebody who's younger and more capable and has that kind of polished look to him would stand a much better chance of withstanding Trump than Biden does.
Yeah.
And yet they continue to prop Biden up and just try to go after Trump with everything they have. And they have thrown the kitchen sink at him, and it still is not working. So, I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish.
What's really funny is that even his own staff, Biden's own staff, is saying, like, this is out of control. And he said, I'm not as old as I'm younger than I look, or I'm younger than I
feel so much younger than I look.
Yeah, something like that. And to me, that's his dementia, because, when you got dementia and stuff, you can remember stuff from years ago, but not 5 minutes ago.
Right.
And he's remembering when he was in shape, and that's where he thinks he really is, which is scary to have as a president.
It is. There's a lot of things about his current condition that are scary. And, first of all, he wasn't good to begin with, and now that's just amplified by the fact that he doesn't seem to, be with it most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, talk about projecting the opposite of strength on the world stage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about plagiarism, shall we? Speaking of Joe Biden.
Yeah, really.
Joe Biden.
So the president of Harvard is being pleaded with to resign, to step down, and of course she won't. Even the woman that she plagiarized is saying that she should step down, and she won't. What are your thoughts just about somebody getting to a level of a president of a very prestigious university got there by plagiarizing? Doesn't that offend you as somebody who writes for a living?
It does, although I will say it doesn't necessarily shock me. And the reason I say that is because in any industry, the incentives to get ahead sometimes, persuade people that it's okay to cut corners and cheat to get there. And Joe Biden is the perfect example. He thought he was okay to plagiarize and he thought he could get away with it, and he didn't. And it derailed his candidacy in 1988. Not permanently, unfortunately, but yeah, I think that in academia there's this pressure to achieve and perform, and people who feel like, well, you know what, I've got other qualities that are going to make me an appealing candidate. Maybe they're not going to dig very deeply. And now it's all being exposed. And the ironic thing is it's being exposed because she screwed up, like big time.
Yeah.
That congressional hearing just really was, I guess, it's a slow moving thing, but it was kind of the nail in the coffin of those three college presidents because they exposed themselves and their institutions and invited tons of added scrutiny that wouldn't necessarily have been there otherwise.
And Susie, I have to push back just a little bit on this because I believe it has to do directly with DEI. And I think that diversity, equity, and inclusion hires, this is the poster child of every one of these. And I think this is going to really hurt that whole way of thinking, the DEI way of thinking, of just getting someone in there because they fit that little mold that you've made.
I think Karine is a bigger example. What you're saying is right,
yeah.
But I think Karine's a bigger example.
I totally
of DEI.
agree. I totally agree with that.
Susie?
Well, and I think, and that kind of ties into what I was saying, because I think
does.
That I think that this president may have felt like she had an advantage because she fell into the protected categories that she wouldn't be scrutinized. That's I guess what I feel like maybe she had that protective cloak over her, so that she could get away with doing that and cutting corners. And now she's being called on it. And, that's not about racism. That's not about any kind of bigotry. That's about you didn't do what you were supposed to do to get where you're getting, and now you're doing a horrible job at what you're doing.
Right.
Bonchi's got a great story on how, again, this goes back to how desperate the Democrats are, right, to just have anybody but Donald Trump. And these comparisons of Trump to Hitler, right, they're so ridiculous. And Bonchi he just tore apart this one tweet that had Trump quotes and how it's supposed to be the same as Hitler quotes, and half of them aren't even close to each other. And this shows their desperation.
Well, it does, and it's an ironic situation because given the current status of everything going on in the world, who are the ones who are voicing anti-Semitism? Who are?
Yeah, no kidding.
Was there a bigger anti-Semite than Hitler?
Right.
Well, no, but now people are giving him a run for his money. So,
right.
Yeah,
it's the
they're
same
the
camp
ones
that's saying he's worse than Hitler that are championing the people that acted like Hitler.
Yeah. It's just incredible to me. And Mein Kampf. They say that Donald Trump has read Mein Kampf. How do you know what Donald Trump has read?
He didn't read that.
I've never read Mein Kampf. Ken says he hasn't. Jerome, you ever read Mein Kampf? No. Oh, you have a little bit. Right. Susie, how about you?
I have not. No, it isn't on my reading list.
Me neither. I didn't see it at the bookmobile when it came by.
No, it's not real high up for me.
Yeah. So I can't find the story. I thought I had it here and I don't. But one of the hostages was found dead. Older Jewish gentleman, and his wife is still being held. I'm sorry I don't have any more for you, but I think you're familiar with it, right?
I am. That headline kind of popped this morning, and it sounds to me like maybe he may have been killed early on. They're just confirming that he is. They've confirmed that he is dead, and he's one of the Americans one of the dual citizens. I think that's the first American hostage who's been killed.
So now that that's happened, I mean, does that affect our involvement in all this?
No, I mean, if it hasn't affected it yet, 32 Americans were killed on October 7th.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, Biden's weak, period.
Yeah, so, I mean, no, I don't think it does. It's just one of those things where the headlines make it seem like they just killed him. It sounds to me like he was killed early on, and they're just confirming now that he was killed.
You know,
but the bottom line is, this administration, I know they have been working on some levels, and they have helped work out some of the hostage release, but they're not doing enough. I mean, how many days into this are we? 80 days?
No, you're wrong. It's 80 years.
Help.
It's 80 years. Don't you
80
listen
years,
to Joe
come on.
Biden? What's the matter with you? What the hell with that, by the way? It's been 65 years since I'm like, oh my God. But have you noticed that between trying to get Trump with the Colorado Supreme Court, sex in the hearing rooms, everything else that's going on, the focus of this whole Israeli thing is kind of just dwindled, and it's still going on?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't as front and center as it was early on. Part of that's just, the sort of news fatigue that people fall prey to pretty easily. It has been going on now for 2.5 months, and people are distracted by other things. Other things are happening. Doesn't mean it's not still, a critical situation. And the poor people who are still being held, my God, I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those people that I get really emotional about it.
Yeah, I know.
So I get to a point where I have to not think about it, or it just tears me up.
Yeah.
I can't imagine these poor people that are still being held after all this time, what they are going through. And it's just, I want them back. I want them home safe. And it kills me.
Yeah. And it's just more testimony that, the mainstream media just can't be trusted on anything. I mean, this past week, another thing that you gave us, by the way, a gift you gave us, the Saki Tummy was Susie's idea back then. We did a special presentation of Saki Tummy, and she's talking about this alternate reality. There's Earth, and then there's Vic and Ken. You know what I mean? She didn't say that, but she might as well have. But that, and that they didn't mention the Israeli situation at all this morning on the Today Show. Did not mention the Colorado Supreme Court. But you know what they did talk about? Christmas bargains.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Travel.
Oh.
They've given up. I mean, they've just given up.
Wow.
They mentioned the border, but only for a short period. It was like, intro to border security.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there as a possibility, and you might be able to relate. They could just have holiday brain. You're on your last show before Christmas. You just kind of end up sort of feeling like you don't want it to be heavy and you don't want it to be taxing. You just kind of want to be thinking about the holiday.
She's talking about me.
I mean,
I think she's talking about me.
I was actually talking about.
I know. Yesterday,
I was actually talking about.
Ken accused me of checking out yesterday.
I totally get it. I mean, I actually took today off, so I'm not writing today other than more to the point that got put up. But yeah, it's like, okay, I kind of just want to write about something light and airy for a change, because it weighs on you. So I kind of get that. I'm not going to fault them too much for the Friday before Christmas making things a little bit lighter.
You are going.
It doesn't mean that heavy things aren't going on in the world.
Way too easy on them. You're going way too easy on them. All right, let's talk about more to the point. Let every heart prepare him room.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so it's almost Christmas time, and I was thinking about, some of the Christmas songs and that sort of thing, and the fact that we kind of focus on, Jesus is arriving and the story of his arrival and all that sort of thing. But when you think about that song, part of it is, let every heart prepare him room. Like, not only is he coming and are we supposed to be celebrating that, but we should really be making room for him in our hearts and really be thinking about that. And I think too often we kind of get distracted with everything else that goes on and it has to do with the holiday, and we forget to just stop and actually say, you know what? I'm making room for him in my heart. I'm making room for him in my focus. And so I just kind of wanted to remind people to do that.
No, it's great. And you know what? I read the article last night, and I had to go back and read the first sentence over again because it was just so great. For those of us who view the holiday season through the lens of faith, the days leading up to Christmas inspire us to contemplate the arrival of our Lord and Savior. And I thought it was just a great opening line, Susie.
And Susie, I want to say I'm going to see you next week and everything, but I just want to thank you for this year because you've been an influence on me personally in getting the information right and getting things to our listeners, because our listeners deserve it to be right, period. And you have been a real pillar in that area. And thank you for that, for me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys and being part of the team there, so I appreciate you saying that.
All right, Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at Red State. You can catch her on Twitter at SmoozyQ. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas.
Right. I like to
Merry Christmas, Susie.
That's Susie Moore. Oh, my wife's favorite Christmas song here, The Kinks, Father Christmas. And speaking of Christmas songs, Ken, I thought when we come back, have a little fun with some Christmas songs.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. Not the real good ones like Susie was just talking about, the religious ones, but just some fun ones, all right? That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Biden's being Biden's being an extremist.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
Jerome is in here shadowing Ken this morning, and he obviously never heard that Porky Pig thing right there because he broke up pretty good. That was pretty good, right, Jerome? That was all right. All right, listen, so get through the holidays, celebrate with your family, be with your family, and then when the stress of the holidays is over, you may want to have a conversation about selling your home, right? I think that's fair, especially if you've been in the house forever and the kids are gone and you look at your wife or your husband, you say, my God, we don't need all this room. Let's sell this house. That's when you call the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. That happens to be Rodney and Jen Wallner, who not only are great at what they do, they also are just great people, okay? Jen is involved in some great charities, and she's a great success story herself, by the way. And now, on to business, they have so many approved home buyers ready to go, ready to pull the trigger, that they guarantee to get you an offer. They also sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor. That is an astounding fact. Great husband and wife team, great family perspective, and I'll say it again, just great people. Now, by the way, licensed in Missouri and Illinois, so everyone in the area can take advantage of the great Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway, Rodney and Jen Wallner. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Hi, Sean Long with STL FenceWorks. Our company realized another extraordinary year of great business. I thank God for engineering our success and for this great nation and all the blessings it offers those who persevere and work hard. Second, I want to personally thank the great customers who put their faith in our company to make their home and backyard dreams a vision fulfilled. STL FenceWorks doesn't exist without you, and I'm humbled and grateful for your patronage. I also want to thank all my great employees. You're the backbone of STL FenceWorks. You make my vision a reality. I'm truly honored to work amongst such fine people. Finally, as the year ends, I want to remind everyone to take time to enjoy the season. Embrace your family and friends, count the blessings in your life. Reflect on the important things, and don't forget the true meaning of Christmas. When a baby was born, Jesus, our Savior. On behalf of everyone at STL FenceWorks, have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed and prosperous New Year.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point. For those of us who view the holiday season through the lens of faith, the days leading up to Christmas inspire us to contemplate the arrival of our Lord and Savior. If you're like me, you wrestle a bit with keeping your focus where it belongs because the distractions are myriad. Presents to buy, parties to plan or attend, potential travel to book, and year-end tasks to address. On some level, we know the importance of remaining mindful of the reason for the season, but it's easy to get swept up in the trappings and forget what lies at its heart. Typically, when I do think of the meaning behind it all, I do so in terms of Christ's arrival itself and thankfulness for the wondrous gift given to us by God. Angels sing of his glory. We sing of bright stars and uncertain shepherds and wise men and a virgin mother. We sing joy to the world to celebrate his coming, but in that very same song, we sing a prayer that every heart will make room for him. Far too few do, and even those who mean to often fall short. Sorry, Jesus, no room at the inn. Things are crazy busy this time of year. Now, imagine if every heart did indeed prepare him room. What cause to rejoice? To repeat the sounding joy, that would be.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This is what's happening.
Our economy is in a free fall.
The president can go on TV and say he's asked a serious question with serious allegations to back it up. He can scream, "Get off my lawn" all day long.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
Good morning. Welcome home to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That is Ken Williams over there. Jerome's in the house, too. He's watching Ken. You want to learn? Learn from the best. That's what he's doing.
Thanks, Vic.
All right. Wheel of audio clips coming up. My last one for the year. You going to do the wheel next week?
We'll see. We'll play by ear.
All right, let me say this.
I really don't want to do that, to be honest with you. I think we can do some other stuff because this is your my thing.
Oh, okay. I was like, you hate my stuff?
No. No, I want to preserve it for you, Vic.
You knew that. You knew I had to say something like that, though,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And is it Wednesday or Tuesday that you're going to be hosting?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ken's hosting the show, and he is going to do a rip-roaring job. I guarantee it. And I'll be tuned in, too, so I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks, man.
Okay. All right, so how about some Christmas stuff? Are you up for that?
Yeah.
The song Sleigh Ride, right? Lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Before you even play it, we're running these, and I don't know where they came from, but I absolutely love them. They're little vignettes about how certain songs were written and who they were written for.
Yes.
Have you heard those?
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
I love them.
And they did one with Brenda Lee. I didn't realize Brenda Lee was 13 when she sang that song.
No.
13 years old. And they talked about Leroy Anderson, and he wrote this song. And I learned that. I didn't know who wrote Sleigh Ride. It was Leroy Anderson and his orchestra. So let's play that.
And it's how they wrote it. And you have to listen to these vignettes that you're talking about because it's really cool because they go pretty deep into, hey, I was thinking about this at the moment.
Right,
and I had this one for 10 years and nobody knew,
Bing Crosby hated it at first.
Right.
It's just great. All right, let's go. Let's hear that. Let's hear some Leroy Anderson's version of Sleigh Ride. And the reason why I wanted to do this, first of all, Johnny Mathis, you know Johnny Mathis, right?
Yeah.
Chances are.
My mom loved him.
Well, listen, Johnny Mathis's version of Misty was our wedding song.
Oh, wow.
And the irony in that is when I was first getting into radio, doing an overnight radio show on an AM radio station where I'd reach more people if I opened the window and yelled out the window, my wife put her friend, and we had just watched the movie Play Misty for Me with Clint Eastwood.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah, but, being a radio guy, it's kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
The lady was obsessed with him. And she got one of her friends in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock,
Vic.
to call me. I said, hi, I'm in WMTR. Yeah, will you play Misty for me? Ken, I hung up the phone so fast. And then she said, I made my friend do that. And I was like, you suck completely. So
that's pretty good.
But Misty ended up being our wedding song because it really is a great emotional, touching song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But Johnny Mathis did a great version of Sleigh Ride, too. Really good version of it. And like Currier and Ives. Currier and Ives drew pictures of Christmas scenes. And that's why it looks like a picture from Currier and Ives.
Okay.
Right? All right, now turn this up. because we're going to get to the point where, and I don't know what came first, this or Let's Go Blues,
Right.
but I'm telling you, it's in there. But you got to concentrate,
You really do.
not on the melody, but you got to concentrate on the other thing that the horn section is doing, okay? It's coming up here in just a second. All right, here we go. Nope. I'm sorry. All right, right now, not the melody. Let's go blues. All right, that's enough of that. Get rid of that. And it's that hit me one time when I was playing it on a radio station. I'm sure the headphones on, and I'm saying, "Well, what that sounds weird." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's Let's Go Blues."
Yeah.
I wonder which one was first. All right, so can we play this whole thing? Is it okay to play this whole thing?
I want to, yeah.
Okay, so everybody's got a favorite Christmas song, right? Most people are very emotional about the Christmas song that they love.
And I want them to get emotional about this. This is very emotional. This one tears me up.
Are you making fun of me
Kind
or
of.
the song?
This is both.
So my favorite Christmas song, this is just crazy and sacrilegious and everything, but my favorite Christmas song is Blue Christmas, but it's this version of Blue Christmas.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. It feels so blue. It just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree. It won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes start falling, that's when those blue memories start calling. You'll be doing all right with your Christmas right, but I'll have a blue Christmas.
All right, the guys in the back laugh the most at what he's going to do right here. And he's not singing, he's just talking like Porky Pig.
Oh, baby, I'll miss you. You'll be doing all right with your Christmas up with white, but I'll have a blue Christmas.
Lunch lady put in the chat box, hey, that's Joe Biden.
Biden's being Biden's being an extremist.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Now, here's the thing about the Porky Pig Blue Christmas thing. For years, I thought that was Mel Blanc, and it's not.
Really?
That's not
I thought
Mel
that
Blanc.
too.
And people said, that's not Mel Blanc. I said, no, yes, it is. Because I can pick out. Do you remember when Mel Blanc did the voice of Clifford the cat? Was it Clifford the cat? Heathcliff.
Yeah.
The cartoon Heathcliff was voiced by Mel Blanc. Barney Rubble was voiced by Mel Blanc.
Oh.
And I thought I had his, even if he was doing another voice, you know that thing where you just
tone,
know it's
yeah.
that person, you know?
Yeah.
So whoever that is doing a great impersonation of Mel Blanc doing Porky Pig.
I love it.
You know?
Yeah.
And those guys laughing in the background. How do you not laugh at that? I'll miss you, baby. Okay. I think we have time for one more. Do we? It's kind of, is it?
We do.
All right. So the Royal Guardsmen back in the 60s did Snoopy versus the Red Baron. And first of all, who doesn't love Snoopy? Anybody in this room doesn't love Snoopy? If you don't love Snoopy, get out now.
Yeah, that's un-American.
Okay. And Snoopy always was the World War I flying ace in his Sopwith camel, right? And the Sopwith camel was his doghouse, right?
That's my childhood.
Me too.
We didn't have cable and all that other stuff. We had to look forward to that one moment when they played, Peanuts.
Yeah. And he
Gang.
always fought the Red Baron, right?
Yeah,
the Red
yeah,
Baron was the one. And all right, so let's hear it, because the great thing is about World War I, in that on Christmas Day during World War I, when both sides stopped fighting and they had a little soccer game even.
Right.
And then after the war, they went back to fighting. It was so ridiculous. So at the end of this is kind of...
In the First World War, the bloody Red Baron was flying once more. The Allied command ignored all of his men and called on Snoopy to do it again. It was the night before Christmas, 40 below, when Snoopy went up in search of his foe. Spied the Red Baron, fiercely they fought, with ice on his wings. Snoopy knew it was caught. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, rang up from the land, asking peace of all the world and
goodwill to man.
The Baron had Snoopy dead in his sights. He reached for the trigger to pull it up tight. Why he didn't shoot, well, we'll never know. Or was it the bells from the village below? Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through the land, bringing peace to all the world and
Goodwill to man.
The Baron made Snoopy fly to the Rhine and forced him to land behind the enemy lines. Snoopy was certain that this was the end when the Baron cried out, "Merry Christmas, my friend!"
That's great. Merry Christmas, my friend.
The Baron then offered a holiday toast, and Snoopy, our hero, saluted his host. And then with a roar, they were both on their way, each knowing they'd meet on some other day. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through the land, bringing peace to all the world
And goodwill to man.
Well, you get the harmony down.
Not
huh?
quite. But you know it's always on my
close.
mind, right?
Yeah.
It's always
yeah.
on my mind. If I could only sing. Okay, I'll try it one more time. And goodwill to man. Yeah.
It's a harmony.
Ken, I wish I could sing. I
It
swear
is
to
a-
God, I wish I could sing.
Speaking of which,
like
can
you do.
Can I mention something about that? Over the weekend, we're going to be doing that special for Christmas. Well, Gabe, Katie, and Tony and I got together, and we're doing a song. That just escaped me, but it's a 4-part harmony.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we just do individual parts, and then we do the whole thing together at the end. So you'll hear it. Can't remember the name of it, but it's a church song, and it's really cool. And so that's part of the festivities we're going to do.
Let's talk about the festivities for a quick second. No, we're really late, and I apologize. But this holiday season, again, is our time to, make Christmas special for you. So personal stories, favorite Christmas songs, that starts Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. and Christmas morning at 6 a.m. Perfect soundtrack for all your, Christmas things that you do with your family. It's all brought to you by Great Harvest Bread Company in Maplewood, Case and Buck's Grub and Pub in Barnhart, and Super Smokers Barbecue. All right, the Wheel of Audio coming up next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. You're listening to The Vic Porcelli Show.
If they have to pay out $159,000 billion less,
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right. Holidays coming up. You're thinking about the kids. You're thinking about the family. You're thinking about the food. You're thinking about everything. You're not thinking about your roof, right? And I get it. I totally get that. But then when all the holidays are over, it may be time to find out exactly what's going on up there, okay? Because I'll tell you what, I don't know what's going on up there at my house because I'm not getting on a ladder, okay? It's not what I do. But if you'd like a good, honest estimate for what your roof may or may not need, that's when you call Connor Roofing, 314-375-7475. They'll give you that honest estimate. If they do need to work on your house, it'll be quality work, and they'll let you know, or you'll let them know how they did when they call you and say, hey, how'd we do? Who does that? Nobody does that. That's why you need to go to Connor Roofing. They have emergency storm repairs, senior citizen and veterans discounts, and you know what? They're just good people. Kathy and Rob Connor have been doing this kind of thing for 30 years. Connor Roofing, the way to go. ConnorRoofing.com, CONNER Roofing.com.
On the next
Larry Connor's USA.
Colorado fired the first shot. Now more Democrat states considering banning Trump on the ballot and Republicans considering banning Biden.
Larry Connor's USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
The Freedom Principle and News Talk STL invite you to a special St. Louis City Town Hall on Friday, January 12th at the Immaculate Heart of Mary Church. Join moderator Tim Jones and expert panelists for a crucial discussion, Building a Better, Safer St. Louis City. Learn what legislators are doing in Jefferson City to protect and build a safer community for all citizens. The St. Louis City Town Hall is free and open to the public. Visit freedomprinciplemO.org for more information.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
One of the 5 most traumatic experiences in life is moving. I can assure you that McGuire Moving can help ease that pressure. Moving into a new home or a new business, locally, internationally. McGuire is rated number 1. More than 80 years of experience. Free estimate? Call McGuire, 314-241-0600. 241-0600. McGuireMoving.com.
Fox News commentary.
Nearly 13,000 illegals were encountered at the border in 24 hours as the backlog for immigration hearings is in the millions. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
A human catastrophe is closing in. Nobody knows how far this one is going to go. You can feel the heat as tension is rising globally. War is expensive. Open a Noble Gold Investments IRA today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
What border? Can you really call it a border when nearly 13,000 illegal immigrants cross it in a 24-hour span? The numbers represent the highest encounter total since Title 42 ended in May, and in case you were optimistic, there is no end in sight. Get this, resources and agents have been stretched so thin that road and rail crossings have had to be closed so agents could instead tend to processing the thousands of illegals stampeding in. CBP has recorded over 3 million encounters in fiscal year 2023, and the court certainly can't keep pace. According to the Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, the backlog of immigration cases has now exceeded 3 million. That means for every one immigration judge, 4,500 cases await. It could take years for a court date to be set, and if you think all these people are showing up years later, well, you're fooling yourself. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Over here, dear.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Surprised you didn't do the shine box
No.
over this song. All right, so again, this song, keep it up nice and loud, okay? It's the melody, not the words, but the melody of this song makes me emotional. And here it comes. Well, there it was. That was it right there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me. Because, a song with sad words can make you cry at any time.
Yeah.
But that song, that melody of that song,
yeah,
I don't know, just gets to me.
Cuts through you.
You know what? Let this stay up, too, because these kids do a great job on this, too. I'm making you emotional. All right. I love it, Ken. I absolutely love that song, and it's just not me. You know what I mean? I love the rockers. That band, Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah.
They're that rockin' thing that they do, the Christmas Eve Sarajevo thing.
Yeah.
That's me, that rockin' thing. And something about this song, I just absolutely love it. By the way.
And I want to say real quick about Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You and I, we worked with them at the what was the place on Central West End, or not Central West End, in the Loop. The pageant.
Yeah.
We sponsored their show.
Yeah,
We were there. It was a big event.
When they were nobody.
Yeah. And the guitar player was up front. It was pretty amazing.
And we didn't even know they were all trans. Turns out they're right? Trans-Siberian?
No, I don't think that's
Is that wrong? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Stupid joke. But it makes me laugh. All right. You know what? We're wasting time here. Let's get into the Wheel of Audio Clips. Ken, get us going.
Wheel of Audio Clips!
I like that joke.
It's America's favorite game show, the Wheel of Audio Clips. Here's the host of Wheel of Audio Clips, Vic Porcelli.
Thank you, Jim Aldrin, very much. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Oh, studio audience. Wow, you guys are revved up today. Ladies in the front row, how you doing? So what we do is, I'm going to try not to get in trouble here or piss anybody off here, okay, Ken? I'm going to try.
Okay.
No promises. So we take the audio clips that we've heard all week in the news, and Ken makes these little cards that signifies which clip is which, and then he puts them on the big wheel, and then we spin the wheel, and those are the clips we played. Now, I find it interesting that the wheel looks very different today, because I always say, hey, is there any Trump on the wheel? There's nothing but Trump on the wheel. So we can't lose.
Wow.
It's a win-win.
Hey.
Spin the wheel. Let's do it. Yeah, it's just a matter of which Trump we're going to hear. I love a rigged game. I'm from New Jersey. I love a rigged game. And Kenny rigged the game for us in our favor. Son of a gun. Donald Trump in Iowa.
We will stop men from participating in women's sports. I mean, the whole thing that you no, but things that you say that you can't believe you're up here and saying it. We are for parental rights. You have to say that. No, think of it. We are for parental rights. Who believes that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, who would ever have to say a thing like that? We're for parental rights. Of course we're for parental rights. But the Democrats aren't. They're fascists. They're not. They want school boards. They want people to take your children and do things with your children that are not even speakable.
I say this all the time, and I truly don't understand people that are for, let's just call them men. Because you want to know the truth? Trans man, trans woman, I still don't know which is which, and I don't think I should have to worry about which is which.
You don't.
It's a man or a woman, right?
Yeah.
So some of these people that are for men playing against women in competitive sports, is it their daughter getting slammed in the face with a volleyball and everything else we've saw? Wrestling? Really? You're going to have a woman wrestle, a girl wrestle a boy? Really? What the hell, Ken?
Crazy. It's crazy. It would never have happened with my daughters. Never. Would never have allowed it.
I guess my point, how have we let it happen? How have we let things like this slip away from us?
We gave up the cultural integrity of the country and the education system to the left. We said, you guys can have this. It can't be that big of a deal, right?
Right.
Well, look,
right.
2 decades later, 3.
And I don't know why that one image of that poor girl playing volleyball.
Oh.
And she got a concussion from that.
Yeah. Well, she's still not right. Yeah.
All right. Spin the wheel. I wonder if it's going to stop on Trump. I wonder if it's going to stop on Trump. You had to do it. You got to get rid of all the never Trumper in the air here. Get it out of here. Oh, what a surprise. Donald Trump talking about China.
I will revoke China's most favored nation trade status, and we will impose stiff penalties on China and other trade abusers because they abuse us. But many people abuse us on trade and even the military. At the same time, I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy, and we will, ready? Drill, baby, drill.
Yes!
We will drill.
What a dictator.
That dictator.
God, he's going to throw us in jail.
We'll put straws in the ground and we'll have oil coming up. We have more oil than anybody, oil and gas. We have more than any other country in the world. And, you know, we took it from fourth place to first place in just a short period of time. We were going to make so much money. We were making so much. We were energy independent. Think of that. Gas prices, oil prices down so low. Record numbers in some cases.
Also, what he didn't mention there was the strategic oil reserve that he bought for pennies, right?
Yes.
Was filled to the brim.
Filled.
And Biden depleted the whole thing and now is trying to buy it back. Biden's doing the exact opposite of buy low, sell high. Right? That's all I know about the stock market.
Buy high and sell low.
That's what he's doing, exactly. All right. Look, can we do one more, Ken?
Yeah.
I just want to do one more.
All right.
All right, spin that wheel. All right. I wonder if it'll land on Donald Trump. I have a feeling it's going to, since every single space is Donald Trump, because I put a gun to Ken's head and said, make it all be Donald Trump, damn it. Okay, so this is a very important piece of audio. Do we have to go in the Wayback Machine for this? We don't have to.
Well, actually, yes, we do.
Okay, then go. Let's set the Wayback Machine for January 6th, Ken, 2021.
Locked in.
Let me know. Locked in. All right, here we are. Now we're in January 6th, 2021, and Donald Trump made this announcement.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
Donald Trump, January 6th, 2021. Now, you know how important and impacting that statement was that you just heard? It was so important, so impacting, that Twitter took it down.
That day.
He put it almost right after, Ken. It's crazy, right? Lara Logan even posted it yesterday with this. Twitter took this down as soon as he did it, showing you that the fix was in.
Yeah, and you mentioned something, how fast the FBI was in control of Twitter, that they took it down that quickly.
That's right. So, there was no insurrection. He didn't do anything wrong. Get us back to the present, will you? I love that you did this. This is the Wayback Machine in reverse. Okay, here we are back in 2023. It's the 22nd of December. That's all the time we have for the Wheel of Audio Clips. This is Vic Porcelli saying, help control the liberal population. Have your liberals spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. All right, so Merry Christmas. I will talk to you in the next year, January 2nd. I would like to now, oh, by the way, Scott Ringerberger says hello, Merry Christmas. He's making a cake for my wife for her birthday.
Awesome.
MacArthur Bakery, the place to go for anything you need. All right, Ken, the show is now yours.
Vic, I just want to say, thanks for a year. Christmas for me is about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, of course, but it's also about love and gifts. Love because I got people around me that I really enjoy being around.
Is that me?
Yep.
Fantastic.
My family and friends and our listeners, Vic.
Yeah.
We've really got to understand that this is their gifts. They're gifts that we get every single day, and I just want to leave it at that.
All right. Well done. Go ahead, do it.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
I have a great whiskey suggestion. Stolock Whiskey, created using natural limestone filtered water from the Ozark Highlands, aged in Missouri oak. Next time, get a bottle. But if you're going to share with friends, you better get at least 2 bottles. Stolock has the Larry Connors seal of approval. See the full story at stolock.com. Stolock, Stowloch, from Stone Ledge Distillery.
The Republican Party, City of St. Louis, extends its deepest thanks to Attorney General Andrew Bailey for the awaited report on Kim Gardner. Attorney General Bailey, in a city where every heartbeat matters, you've been the steady hand guiding us back to safety. Your persistent hard work and dogged pursuit of justice have begun to paint a new picture of hope and security in the city of St. Louis. To read the news article, full report, and executive summary, go to stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC, Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Facts don't matter. Lies don't matter. You or I lie, we go to jail. She lies.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
You know, it's just part of the business. President lies, it's part of his business. Joe Biden couldn't tell the truth if he could remember it. And then you got Hunter Biden, you know, because he's a drug addict, because he's a gun criminal, because, you know, posts pictures of himself with hookers and crack pipes and all that kind of stuff. That makes him somehow wonderful.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Patrick Ishmael, Executive Director of the Taxpayer Protection Alliance Foundation.
You know, the problem is that technology is just not ready for prime time yet. These electric cars don't work when it's cold out, so that whole, you know, not rain nor sleet nor snow is going to stop us has just gone right out the window. Cold weather is going to stop the Postal Service and their electric trucks.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. More than 20,000 Palestinians have died in Gaza during Israel's war against Hamas. Meanwhile, Israel has vowed to continue the war until Hamas is removed from power in Gaza and all the hostages taken during its October 7th cross-border attack are freed. Former President Donald Trump continues to speak out about the Colorado Supreme Court's decision to bar him from the state's GOP primary ballot in the state. Mr. Trump says the U.S. Supreme Court must intervene and strike it down.
This one is really a crazy one, and if they ever did that, it would be so bad for this country. You have no idea, and you understand it would be a big problem for the country.
The former president was a guest on the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt program. This year's Congress passed few laws, leaving a long to-do list for 2024.
With Republicans taking the House majority, the 118th Congress started with a spectacle.
The House of Representatives failed to organize on opening day.
It took 15 rounds to elect House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. It was 10 months before he was ousted, driven out by more conservative members, in part for supporting a resolution to keep the government's finances afloat. After 3 weeks of contention, Mike Johnson of Louisiana won the gavel.
The People's House is back in business.
The Senate and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell seemed frozen too at times.
And a string of
With 27 bills and resolutions signed into law, it's been among the most do-nothing sessions of Congress in recent times. Jennifer King, Washington.
The holiday travel rush is hitting its peak as mild weather and lower flight cancellation rates raise hopes for merrier drivers and airline passengers than last year. On Wall Street, the Dow is ahead by 48 points. The Nasdaq is up by 45. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possible
equipment, liens, levies, audits are already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-476-0350. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-476-0350. 800-476-0350. That's 800-476-0350.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Keep your umbrellas handy today. On and off rain through much of your Friday, but this storm system has no access to cold air, so this is just all plain rain. 57 for the high today. Rain chances wither into the evening. Should be dry overnight. Will dip to a mild 49. That sets the stage for an unusually warm day Saturday. Great travel day, a high of 64, but still mostly cloudy. Then be ready for a round of soaking rain from Christmas Eve evening into Christmas Day. Looks pretty soggy. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Seavers JCB has the JCB AG loader you need for maximum efficiency and versatility around the farm. JCB's TM series of articulated telescopic loaders are powerful, rugged, and engineered to deliver maximum productivity in all of your material handling applications. Take advantage of special year-end financing offers and tax breaks that may entitle you to additional savings. Stop in to Seavers Equipment and check out their full line of industry-leading JCB agriculture equipment or contact them at SeaversJCB.com.
Hi, it's Mark McCloskey from My Pillows. My Pillow is excited to bring you their biggest bedding sale ever just in time for Christmas. Get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. Rejuvenate your bed with a My Pillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. They also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles. They even have blankets for your pets. Get quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more, all with the biggest discounts ever. They're also extending their money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1st, 2024, making them the perfect gift for your friends, your family, and everyone you know. So go to MyPillow.com and use promo code ONFIRE or call 800-645-1392, and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, and get all your shopping done now while the quantities last.
Get charged up on the truth. Power Punch with Larry Behrens.
Everyone's talking about the $6 billion Joe Biden sent to Iran just about a month ago. As well they should be. But did you know he has opened up the money flow to Tehran for well over a year? He doesn't want to talk about it, but we will.
Power Punch with Larry Behrens. Saturday afternoons at 4 on News Talk STL.
Get more Power Punch at powerthefuture.com.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Filling in for Dan, here's Jim Verdi.
Hello, it's me, producer Jim, filling in for Dan today. Just got finished listening to the podcast. If you get a chance later on today, and if you didn't get to hear it, you should listen to it. It's got some great stuff on there. I mean, not only just the beginning content, but Guy and Joe put some together some really cool clips at the end that they ranked that are the clips of the year. So it's definitely worth downloading, listening to later on. It's a lot of fun. I've got a lot of fun planned for you today as well. And let's see, the number is, what is the number? I'm so used to Dan giving it out. It's 844-484-3872, 844-4-the-USA. I'll be taking your calls all throughout the show if you want to talk about anything I'm talking about. If you want to talk about something that you want to talk about, or if you just, if you want to talk barbecue tips, I'm all for talking smoked meats. We can talk about that. Today, I've got a lot planned for you. This hour, I'm going to get into much of the news, whatever's going on today. Next hour, I've got a few of the highlights from the year ourselves from the Dan Bongino radio show. And in the last hour, we're going to take a visit through the dark web. If you know, you know. And by the way, if you know, you know, I got a book coming out next year. Looking forward to it. It's all about the Dan Bongino radio show. And hopefully you'll see fit if you're a P1 and you're not a P1 and you want to find out all about our little hidden secrets and inside jokes, this is just the thing for you. All right, I want to start off today with what's going on with Donald Trump in Colorado right now. Now, I wrote something a while back. I think it was in April. Might have been April. Because everybody kept saying when Trump got indicted, it was crossing the Rubicon. And I think they even said that from Mar-a-Lago, too. It's crossing the Rubicon. But I don't think anybody knows what crossing the Rubicon actually means. Do you even know what the Rubicon is? The Rubicon was allegedly a river in Italy. And so crossing the Rubicon, let's go back in history. I'll do you a little history lesson here. To understand, first of all, what the Rubicon means, you have to know what was going on in Rome at the time of Caesar, okay? I don't know if you realize, but Rome didn't always have an emperor. That Rome was ruled by the Senate itself. All the Senate was equal together, and Caesar was just basically a senator. Now, he was a powerful senator, and he was one of three, a triumvirate, that really kind of ran the country. And when the Roman Empire expanded to the Rhine in the north and all the way to the Atlantic in the west, he built a loyal army and became fabulously wealthy. Caesar was, in Gaul. Pompey was a member of the triumvirate. And when Caesar left, Pompey used his political capital and was the de facto leader of the Republic. He made the decision that Caesar was not allowed to return to Rome with an army. Otherwise, it would look like a coup or an invasion. So the Rubicon marked the boundary of Gaul and Italy. Now, Gaul is modern-day France. So there was much suspicion and hate among the main players in the Senate. I read a book. It's Adrian Goldsworthy's Caesar, Life of a Colossus. It's probably considered the definitive biography of Caesar, very long. In that, Goldsworthy writes, instead of coming back home to a second consulship, a Gallic triumph, games honoring his daughter, and general acknowledgement as Pompey's equal, and the two foremost men in the Republic, he returned a rebel. So Caesar was relentlessly attacked in the Senate, and he faced a decision either to lose command of his armies and his place of stature in the Senate, or fight. So as he approached the river Rubicon that January, the Roman biographer Suetonius wrote, catching up with his cohorts at the river Rubicon, the point which he paused for a moment, understanding what a huge thing he was planning. And he turned and spoke to the men with him. He said, even now we could turn back, but once we cross that tiny bridge, everything will depend on armed force. This is where Caesar is also said to have used the phrase, the die is cast. Now, the point of explaining that is not in any way an argument for an armed conflict. Caesar knew he knew that would ensue should he cross that river, but that we're using it in a figurative sense. It's to explain how a decision is to cross any modern day Rubicon. It's not to be taken lightly. And that's exactly what the left is doing right now. I mean, probably the first example of crossing of that Rubicon was the Mar-a-Lago raid. Biden's DOJ raids the house of his number one political opponent. That's just That was unheard of. Then Trump gets indicted in New York. That's unheard of. It's just insanity. Going back to Goldsworthy, he referred to the ensuing civil war in Rome as the civil war that was not fought over great issues or between conflicting ideologies, but was about, get this, personal position and dignitas, most of all that of Caesar. We're living in basically kind of a cold civil war right now. President Trump is not Caesar, but he faces the same animosity from the Biden regime. And in the case of Trump, it's not that he is crossing the Rubicon, but the governmental entities stacked up against him, the courts, the media, the Congress, the executive branch, academia, the tech giants. Just think about how it's blowing my mind. It's like Dan calls it the show your ass theory. They're trying to constantly one-up each other to do whatever they can to make sure this man does not get to run for president. You know, the latest thing is taking him off the ballot in Colorado, which everybody, all the legal experts, everybody on TV is like, oh, well, you know, the Supreme Court's going to overturn that 9-0. You know, that's obviously unconstitutional. That's not. Excuse me. Everything we thought was never going to happen is happening. Did you ever think Mar-a-Lago would get raided? Did you ever think he would get indicted? Did you ever think that people who will, quote unquote, trespass or even went to Washington, D.C. on January 6th would be rounded up and thrown in a gulag in Washington, D.C. with no due process? In some cases, thrown into solitary, having to spend money, ordinary citizens having to spend money they don't have to defend themselves from something they didn't do. I'm not talking about the people who rioted. I'm talking about the people they rounded up who may have walked into the Capitol Rotunda and walked out, spent 15 seconds in there, or that were just at the rally that day. Those people rounded up too. Did you ever in your life think that this could happen in the United States of America? That's crossing the Rubicon. They've crossed all kinds of Rubicons. It's insanity. And it's not the place that we need to be right now. Going back a little later in history, during the first battle of the American Civil War in Manassas, crowds of locals came to the battlefield. It was almost like they didn't have TV, they didn't have the internet or video games, so they were going to go watch. It was like a polo match or, you know, some kind of game. They came out in their Sunday best, picnic baskets, and they were just going to watch this battle unfold. I don't think they ever expected to see the carnage that would happen. And they probably thought it was going to be over in a day or an afternoon, within a matter of hours, that the Union troops would put down this ragged bunch of Confederate troops. But they had another thing coming. And when the Confederates turned the tide of the battle and sent the Union fleeing back to Washington, D.C., and all those people leaving their baskets and running for their lives, basically, back to D.C., they didn't expect the carnage that was about to come. And we know it was 4 years. Caesar knew the bad places his actions would lead. He knew if he crossed that river that he was going all in. Well, the leftists don't seem to get this. This is the danger with the Democrats and the leftists that they're toying with. If they can do this to Trump, they're doing it to us. And this is why the actions of the radical extremist DA in New York, of Jack Smith, of a Supreme Court in Colorado, carry this much weight. And it needs to be taken seriously. Beyond the historic nature of a United States presidential candidate being pursued in this manner. This is a crossing of the Rubicon that could take us places we could otherwise not have imagined. And I'm not talking, about any kind of, quote unquote war, but I'm just saying we have to consider this. And all of us as citizens, and I'm talking Republicans and Democrats, need to look at this and say, hey, we're approaching a place where the Republic is in danger. And this is not a place we want to be. We're letting this woke agenda or this government monolith, the deep state, if you will, we're letting them rule us. And they're not going to let go easily. That's why they fear Donald Trump so much. That's why the language that they're using when they talk about him, they're trying to compare him to Hitler. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy for this country to survive. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people, and it's been evidenced by the protest, these pro-Hamas protests throughout the country, that there's a younger generation of people who don't see or don't know exactly what the values this country was built upon. And they don't understand the importance of rule of law. They throw around the word democracy, but basically when you throw around the word democracy, you're throwing around the word mob rule. I mean, that's basically what it is. Majority rule is great, but when it's majority rule and they rule that they want to take your property or put you in a gulag, then democracy's not all that great, is it? That's why the founders created for us a constitutional republic. It's a representative form of government. We send representatives to Washington, D.C. to represent us. And we're the ones who have to hold this accountable. Dan always quotes his friend Ginny Thomas as saying, we're the leaders we've been waiting for. Well, when they're crossing Rubicons over and over and over again, we need to start leading. All right, I got more on the other side of the break. If you want to give me a call, the number is 844-484-3872. We'll be right back.
Bongino. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-276-2140 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-276-2140. That's 800-276-2140. What do you have to lose? Call 800-276-2140. Again, 800-276-2140.
Dan Bongino.
This week on News Talk STL.
They have not, even their own witnesses that they brought forward, been able to find a nexus between any of the allegations of Hunter Biden and the president.
We have a significantly bigger problem. Joe Biden on day one made border policy the way it is.
If Joe Biden stays on the ticket, it could be the very best night for Republicans.
News, analysis, and opinion.
We are in a stronger position in the House this time than the last two cycles when we won.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
With this gorgeous fall weather upon us, I couldn't think of a better place than to hang out anytime during the week than Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge, Missouri, located just 10 minutes from 270 and Gravois, the go-to St. Louis sports bar and grill experience. 30 big screen TVs, a full bar, fantastic food, including the famous Johnny Dow's Chicken Wings, sunset patio with the Cattleman's Grill, train station bar, live music throughout the week with local musicians, a huge game room. They're open 7 days a week. You can check out the speaker of the house table on your next visit. For more information, visit them at jhideout.com. That's jhideout.com. Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter from The Right Mind Show, where we put the fun in our dysfunctional world. And there's nothing more dysfunctional than the holidays. Crowded malls, drunk relatives, and of course, the holiday fruitcake, who I refer to as my Uncle Bob. So join me and my buddy Joey B this Saturday, won't you? Hey, it's better than kissing Grandma under the mistletoe.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Saturday evenings at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you this holiday by LiberalJoke.com.
Is your family prepared for the financial burden of losing a loved one?
Are you aware of the cost of a funeral?
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for lifetime permanent final expense insurance coverage with no medical exam required.
Just answer a few health questions, and once accepted, your rates never increase.
Do you have diabetes? High blood pressure?
Have you had a heart attack? A stroke?
No problem.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial can help protect your legacy.
Call or text 314-866-8886. That's 314-866-8886.
To learn more about permanent lifetime final expense insurance coverage.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for immediate coverage by answering just a few health questions.
Call or text 314-866-8886. Or learn more at memorialplans.com. That's memorialplans.com.
Policies underwritten by Senior Life Insurance Company, not available in all states.
The left, for months now,
one by one,
have been begging for a civil war.
Every caller gets their say.
We got to stop and not put these officers in situations where they feel like they have to overreact.
And whether you agree,
we have to assume some responsibility, because I'm a black man,
or disagree,
I think you're politically wrong.
I do not need athletes to tell me.
You're invited to join the conversation.
Thank you for canceling all your games. Now I get it.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
A 50-year-old male may be a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes. $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-8520. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
All right, I'm not going to apologize. I love this song. Merry Christmas to you from everybody here at the Dan Bongino Show. We do appreciate you listening. Thank you so much. All right, I got a couple calls. Let's see. Let's go to Dave. Dave wants to talk Caesar. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how are you?
Excellent. Merry Christmas.
All pretty good. Merry Christmas to you as well. I just find it ironic that you brought up Caesar and Pompey and Rubicon and all of this. Pompey was well known as a cleanup guy. He would come in with the army that he paid for towards the end of these battles. He'd have these massive battles with these other generals, and he would come in at the end, do the cleanup job, and then take all the glory for the whole battle, which I find, it's a lot of similarity between him and Biden. And I just thought the irony in that was just, to me, it was something I was like, man, I didn't even mention that. So
that is interesting. But while you say Pompey comes in and cleans up the messes, all Joe Biden seems to do is make more of them. That's the problem.
I agree. Well, I mean, Pompey, like I said, he really wouldn't. He was just a cleanup guy. He'd come in and finish off the stragglers that everybody else had done all the work for.
Right.
You know.
All right, Dave, I appreciate it. Hey, you have a great holiday, okay?
You too. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All right, take care. All right, let's go to Phil. Phil, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, first off, I just want to say you're doing a great job. You need to have your own radio show one day.
I like what I'm doing. I'm enjoying. I'd love this old Dan Bongino show thing. So I appreciate it.
I didn't think you would be doing bad when I heard you were going to do it yesterday, but I mean, you're doing a great job. So
thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, man. And what I want to ask you is, I missed your last contest that you had. It was in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
And I got called into work that night. So I'm just wondering if you have any other contests coming around, because Dan talks so highly of your meat. I would like to come try some.
It probably won't be until I think July or August again. It'll be the same place in Ardmore. So I think that'll be the next one. Yes. So,
yeah, I have family out in Ardmore, so that's awesome.
So you missed out on some you missed out on some second place brisket this time.
Well, that's what I heard, man. So I'm looking forward to it next time. So you have a good Christmas, man, and thank you for taking my call.
All right, Merry Christmas, Phil. Thank you for calling. Appreciate it. All right, we got more coming up. I'll take some more of your calls, and we're going to get into a little bit of immigration talk as well. Some ridiculousness that was heard at the podium in the White House yesterday. And more fun coming up. It's Producer Jim on the Dan Bongino Show.
If you're a timeshare owner, you're probably upset that your yearly dues continue to increase. With an A-plus rating at the BBB and over 900 five-star testimonials, Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. They're the only company you can trust, having helped over 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out. Call my friends today for a free, no-obligation consultation at 844-284-4864 or LoneStarTransfer.com.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Dan Bongino. Are you over?
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Health officials in Hamas-run Gaza say the Palestinian death toll there has surpassed 20,000. Meanwhile, the Israel-Hamas war is casting a pall over Christmas festivities in the region. Former President Donald Trump is expressing confidence the U.S. Supreme Court will overturn the Colorado High Court's decision to keep him out of the state's presidential GOP primary ballot next year. Mr. Trump was a guest today on the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt program. The Federal Reserve's preferred measure of prices fell last month. Today's report from the Commerce Department showed the U.S. consumer prices slid 0.1% last month from October and rose 2.6% from November of 2022. On Wall Street, the Dow's ahead 37 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-476-0350. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-476-0350. 800-476-0350. That's 800-476-0350.
This is just the start. I want to bring in the bookkeeper. I want to bring in other witnesses and whistleblowers.
News, analysis, opinion.
That's what needs to happen so the American people get the facts, get the truth.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Do I have a place for you folks as we head into these beautiful fall weather months? Espino's Mexican Grill. You can find them 24/7 at espinosmexicanbargrill.com, and you can find them 24/7, 365 at 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road, right in the heart of Chesterfield Valley, just off of Interstate 6440. Espino's Mexican Grill, nearly 2 decades in the business. I've been going there for years. They have a fantastic menu of authentic Mexican fare, not the typical stuff you get around town, and the coldest drinks around. Did I mention the margarita patio? That's what I call it, outside. Fantastic addition that Espino's put in several years ago. Espino's is a fresh alternative to the typical stuff you get. Once you go once, you'll be back many, many times. Check them out online, espinosmexicanbargrill.com, located at 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road. Best authentic Mexican fare and best coldest drinks around in town.
Getting a new floor for your home can be intimidating and a little scary, but that's not the case when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Katie here, and my mom and dad used Michael's, and they had a great experience. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Shop in-store at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, or St. Peters. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Friday, we'll talk about that crazy, unconstitutional Colorado case with Zach Smith of the Heritage Foundation at 425. At 525, The Economy, Dr. Aaron Hedlund, wine, whiskey, and the reason for the season.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Got a better idea? Call 844-4-the-USA now. 844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
It is the Dan Bongino Show. Producer Jim filling in today. Give us a call if you want. Lots going on today. Let's go to Patrick here and see what Patrick. If I sound like I'm grunting or I'm actually running the show like I run Dan's show. And I'm having to move and stretch places because I'm still controlling the board and all that. And things aren't necessarily close to the microphone. So I have to move around a little bit. So let's go to Patrick here. Patrick, what's...
Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to explain the difference between a republic and democracy. Everybody says democracy, and the Democrat Party says it's a democratic, but the Democrat Party is as far from democratic as you can be. Just look at what's happened under the Democrats. On January 6th, they convicted all those people of crimes that they made up, and they weren't really guilty of it. But the difference between democracy and republic is the difference of what happened in France and what happened in America under George Washington. George Washington said, the time to give a bow to democracy is when it has been encircled by restraints. That is the due process of law. In France, there was no due process of law. It was just whoever could demagogue the people the most and get the people behind them. They became the ruler, and there were five different democracies in France, and it finally ended up in Napoleon.
Yeah, you're exact. Patrick, I really appreciate the call. That's one of the big differences between the American Revolution and the French Revolution. The American Revolution was done with a Congress that came up with a Declaration of Independence. And after they won the war, they came up with a constitution to run the country. In France, it was off with your head. Let everybody out of jail, and it was mob rule. That was, quote, unquote, democracy. That's the way democracy worked there. Thanks for the call, Patrick. I really appreciate it. And like dictators in Roman time were different. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing. That was just kind of what they called the position. Now we know a dictator much differently. And the dictator running our country is letting everybody in the country who wants to come in here. And this is not the way you can keep our republic safe. I was watching some of the stuff at the podium yesterday. Now, with Karine Jean-Pierre, she's not a serious person, so they have to bring in a serious person to answer serious questions. That's why they bring in John Kirby, who had a very impressive military career, but has basically sold his soul for this administration. It's ridiculous. Once you listen to John Kirby here talking about the decline, the number of decline of people coming over the border. Listen to this.
There was a general decline in some of the migrant flows. Again, not perfect, not saying that it was down to a level that was comfortable for anybody, but there had been a decline. And so we want to see that same effort being applied again as a team going forward, and we'll see where that goes. But we're working on this really, really hard.
Yeah, they're working on it really hard. I mean, we see it all the time. We see what's going on. We see Bill Malugин's reports down at the border. MSNBC down at the border now, actually covering this. CNN is even covering it a little bit. They're using this decline thing the same way they're using. This is what gets me. This is what makes me so mad, is they treat us like we're stupid. And I don't like being talked down to. I don't like being made to think I'm an idiot and like I don't get it. Don't lie to my face and think I'm just going to take it when I know, when my eyes see what's happening. The decline in inflation, that's what they used. Remember, inflation's declining. Inflation's still twice what it was when Joe Biden took office, okay? It's declined from the 8% disaster that he caused by getting rid of Trump's deregulation, by shutting off our energy independence, by spending trillions of more dollars that he didn't have to spend. That's what it's down from. So don't keep lying to my face, using words. You're lying to us, and we know you're lying to us. Just at least have some respect. They don't respect you. They don't care. And they keep saying they're trying to figure out how to figure out what the root causes are of this migration.
Cecil, would you say the administration's efforts to stem root flow, to get to the root causes of migration?
We believe that we've done a good job working with our partners in the region to try to get at some of the root causes, including political instability and crime. There is more that needs to be done. And I think it's important, again, as I said earlier, to keep this in perspective. You are seeing more people on the move for a variety of reasons across in this hemisphere than since World War II. I mean, it's a historic level of migration, and there's a lot of reasons for it, and we're not the only country that's facing this flow. So it's back to the question about alliances and partnerships. A way to get at this is to work with neighboring nations to try to get at these root causes at the same time working on our own immigration process here in the policies here in the country and getting at reform, as well as working on border security. And that's why the president asked for $6 billion in the supplemental.
There is no border security. Why do you keep telling us there's border security and you're working on the root causes? There's only one root cause. You stopped everything Donald Trump was doing at the border. You're letting metal for the wall rot in the desert. You stopped the Remain in Mexico policy. There's one root cause. The root cause is you told everybody to come, and now they're coming. That's what the root cause is. And the $6 billion, you had money for a wall. The money was allocated for that. Now you want $6 billion more to do what? Oh, I know what it's to help the border agents out there and to hire more border agents. You wouldn't need them if you didn't do the stupid things that you've done so far. And this is how bad it's getting. So, they're coming in, and don't worry, they're going to have court dates where they have to appear, and then we'll decide. We'll take a listen to this when it comes to the court dates.
Some illegal border crossers are being given court dates in 2031. What are they supposed to do here for 7 years?
Again, that's a better question put to DHS. I'm not in a position to talk about specific cases like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer your question. I don't. What does it matter? 7 years? Yeah, whatever. What are they going to do for 7 years? Seriously. First of all, who are they and what are they going to do for 7 years? Court dates of 2031. That's crazy. You're going to have people that you don't know anything about wandering around the country doing who knows what. But then, of course, KJP had to get in there and do her usual inanities.
And what we're seeing here at the border, the migration flow, increased migration flow, certainly it ebbs and flows. And we're at a time of the year where we're seeing more at the border. And it's not unusual. This is an immigration system that has been broken for decades. And the president has taken this very seriously to try to do more.
The president has not taken this very seriously. Stop telling us that. We can see with our own eyes what's going on. It ebbs and it flows. Well, you know what stops ebbs and flows? A dam. Jeez. I mean, build the rest of the wall. Everything you stopped that was working, there wasn't a broken immigration policy. It's not broken. It wasn't broken. You broke it. You're the guys that broke it. Then she's asked about the what the Biden administration has done at the border. Let's listen to this geniusness.
I understand you don't want to negotiate from the podium, but can you tell the American people if there's any immigration policy that this White House is willing to talk about and is working on with Republicans?
So I want to be really careful as negotiations happen. We don't want to do this in the public, right? It does not help the process. And so we want to make sure that those negotiations are happening. Obviously, we're part of those negotiations with the senators. We think it's going in the right direction. We want to make sure that we get to a bipartisan agreement. It's incredibly important. The president understands. He understands that we have to fix this immigration system. It has been broken for decades now. And so we have to do everything that we can to fix that system. And so we're going to have those conversations. And you're right, it's not just about funding. It's also about policy discussions that they're having. And so don't want to get ahead of it. And let's not forget, this is a president that has had these types of negotiation or been part of these types of, his team certainly has been part of these types of negotiations for some in different subjects and legislation. So that has happened for the last two almost 3 years, and they've been successful. So we're going to continue to do that and stay steadfast on that.
Yeah, okay. Besides not being able to complete a sentence without stopping yourself and saying negotiations over and over again, you're saying you have policies. You didn't say anything. Did you hear anything in that was a policy that they're working on, that they're working hard on? They're not working hard on anything. You don't know who's coming in the country. And why is this? This is the best way to explain it to your liberal friends, okay? If you're at your house and there's a knock on your doorbell rings. You're going to answer your door. You don't know the person. You're going to ask who they are. You're going to ask what they want. You're going to want to find out some identification of who they are. And then you're going to decide whether you should let them in your house or not. Now, if 500 people show up at your door, you're going to do the same process, or are you just going to let them wander in your house, not knowing they're going to steal your silverware? They're going to destroy your backyard. What are they going to do? What are they there for? You have to have a process to let these people in. You have to keep them out of the country before they can come in. And don't tell me it's a broken immigration system and it's been this way for years. what was happening under the Trump administration was working. You don't want to do it because you hate it. And the other thing, that's the other thing. They're blaming it. Goes back to the Obama playbook. Obama blamed everything on Bush. Oh, everything bad that's happening, that's George Bush. George Bush did it. This administration is the same way. Oh, everything bad that's happening, Trump did it. That's Trump's fault. It's the same thing. Now, they're letting people in my view, and I believe because they're trying to change the voting situation. But they don't realize that this young generation of people that's going through our higher institutions and higher education are being educated against the country. Here's an example. University of Minnesota professor, her name is Melanie Yazzie, and she's claiming she's on the dais in this panel with a group of Native Americans, okay? And she's talking about indigenous people. But she's not really talking about indigenous people. She's talking about what the left wants to do to the United States of America. Listen to this.
Hearing people on social media saying like, oh, land back, like genocide. Does this mean genocide? No. But land back is going to happen. That's going to happen, the indigenous perspective in Turtle Island and how we understand what is also happening in Palestine. And what we really want you to take away tonight is, as Anthony said, we're in the belly of the beast, right? We're all indigenous people who come from nations that are under occupation by the United States government. And of course, the U.S. bankrolls the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land. They're one and the same, really. And so it's our responsibility as people who are within the United States to go as hard as possible to decolonize this place, because that will reverberate all across the world, because the U.S. is the greatest predator empire that has ever existed, right? And so we want U.S. out of everywhere. We want U.S. out of Palestine. We want U.S. out of Turtle Island, right? And that the goal is to dismantle the settler project that is the United States for the freedom and the future of all life on this planet. It very much depends upon that.
I mean, this is a college professor teaching your kids. We're a settler. What? I don't even know what that is. Basically, we're a colonizing nation. I mean, in every war that we've ever fought in, we haven't colonized any place. We've always left and come back. These people want to end the country. This is serious. You have to pay attention to this. All right. I got more for you coming up. We'll take your calls still, 844-484-3872. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Is inflation taking a toll on your pocket? You know it is. The dollar shrinking daily? Well, it's time to join AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. With AMAC, you can save from 10 to 65% on products like cell phones and plans, health and wellness products, travel and lodging, vision, dental, and prescription drugs. Go to amac.us/Dan. The savings alone will more than pay for your subscription. They even have an advisory service for Social Security and Medicare that'll answer any questions you have. Join AMAC today at amac.us/Dan. Thinking of or in the middle of retirement? AMAC Financial Planning and Retirement Planners can help you learn more about life insurance, IRA rollovers, and investment advice from its referral partners. Head on over to amac.us/Dan. Don't wait. Discover savings that make dreams come true. Discover a world of savings on everything to fuel your future. It all starts at amac.us/Dan, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Better for you, better for America.
Dan Bongino.
Make us part of your holiday this year with the NewstalkSTL Family Christmas. We'll share personal stories and play our favorite Christmas songs starting Christmas Eve at 6 and Christmas morning at 6. Brought to you by Great Harvest Bread Company in Maplewood and Chase & Buck's Grub and Pub in Barnhart.
It's been a very busy year for Wellington Environmental. Tom and his staff had traveled all over making sure that minor issues don't become major disasters. Then there are the times Wellington is called in for emergencies, but nothing Wellington hasn't seen before. They have certified inspectors, chemists, scientists, environmental planners, and that's just some of their expertise. That is why the St. Louis Business Journal gave Wellington such a high ranking. So what will 2024 bring? No one knows, but if you take time to visit the Wellington Environmental Facebook, you're going to see things that might explain health issues at your home or business, affecting you, your family, clients. Wellington Environmental Facebook. Tom Wellington and the entire staff wish you a blessed 2024. Your world, cleaner, better, safer. So, as always, be well with Wellington.
News